Yes.
Yes. That passes.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, trustees, good to see you, and to our guests that are here.
What's that?
Marcus is gonna check to see if there's anybody else who wants to be in. Okay.
Keep going.
Uh,
Go to that door here. Yeah, go to that side door. Don't take you right there.
The one right here?
Yep, go through there and then to the left.
Oh, okay, that'll work.
Yep.
Everybody else out here.
All right, evening trustees, we have with us 3D Creative. Mr. and Mrs. Williams here to share a presentation with the board. The floor is all yours. All right, good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening.
Good evening. I would like to start with a quote. Every great invention begins with an idea. And every idea needs a place to work. And that's the reason why we're here tonight. Good evening. I was thinking maybe Dr. I think her name is Leverett, and that she might be here, but also to Dr. Hannah and esteemed members of the school board who would like to be here this evening. My name is Denisha Williams. For those that don't know me, I'm the founder and CEO of 3D Creative Design. And it's a Pontiac homegrown company, born and raised, from the ground up, back in 1970. But now I'm telling my age. But a woman-led technology company, we transform ideas into career opportunities. Is what we do. We're here tonight for one mission: to empower Pontiac students with tools, training, and the vision to thrive in the world of 3D technology, a field that is reshaping every industry of tomorrow. And when I say touches every industry, it really does. What we have before you, we just have a presentation, but we some things, give you a little bit of groundwork of what we do as a company, and we will roll away. And with me, just by way of introduction, if you will pop up on the screen, is my husband. He is our chief innovative officer.
All right.
David Williams. And thank you. And take it away. Okay. Here's my.
I finally figured out that statue right here.
Oh, okay.
I looked at it.
So, I gave you guys a little bit of background information about me being the founder. We actually founded this company in 2021, specializing in 3D printing and graphic design, architectural design, blueprinting, modeling, a STEM curriculum geared towards workforce development. That's why we created it. We want to create a job, we want to create a career pathway in STEM that most students may not think about. So it was really behind the vision that James had for the company. And our simple model is from concept to creation, we show you the future one layer at a time. And that's what we do. Okay, this is our vision and mission. As far as our vision, innovative excellence and Life Applications Ministries, where we go, our church home, had several opportunities there for vendor events and what have you. And then community STEM initiatives across Oakland County, including showing up to the My Career Plus event. So those are a few just to name. Why Kanye schools? Why not? Actually, we're pivoting back. We did, and at one point in time, but we're circling back because it's more important now than ever because kids now are looking for trades. Pontiac is pushing potential. I was born and raised in Pontiac schools. So, Pontiac schools, Northern and Central.
All right, I'm glad
Let
you
me
said
throw it
something.
in there. I don't want no rocks thrown. But no, 3D printing is a $1 billion industry. It is. We have some stats today as we go along on a couple more slides. Automotive, aerospace, Williams International, right around the corner. Healthcare, prosthetics. One particular story I want to just put in there was an African doctor, there was a deaf patient, 3D printed middle ear bones and cured the person that was deaf. And it's a true story. Look it up on YouTube. Construction, architecture. Anybody seen the 3D printed home in Detroit? Does anybody know Fernando Bells? He's the person behind Citizen Robotics. He's from Pontiac. And actually, he just pivoted back. So think about construction and architecture. In Texas, there's a community in Austin that built 100 3D printed homes. And with that, the saving energy. The home that is in Detroit, it is Island View. The home is 100% electric and net zero. So you think about the sustainability of that home. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time to think about the house. Product design and creative arts. Next slide. Now here's the data. This is the data that gives you a little bit of a deeper dive on why it's so important. Then what's called an additive manufacturing technician, you can make really great money off of a 2-year degree. And as we know right now, if you graduate from 2023 and beyond, you go to community college for free right now. So, my husband, he went to OCC, he obtained a 2-year product design degree. This is the pay scale for Michigan. He just said I'm making about 43. Being just the technician that runs the 3D print machines, not an engineer, but someone that's running a 3D print machine, and you can learn that skill by going to OCC. So win-win. And then looking at North America, by 2030, you can see the stats of right now, 2023, that's the last time we looked at this part, 4.4 billion, but look at the scale, it just goes up. And look at all of the industries underneath there, that's what's in there. Inkjet printing, automotive, parts. Think about the old school vehicles. Who we got in here got old school vehicles? You think about those parts that are hard to find.
Yes.
The 3D printed parts. 3D
Right.
printed.
This is not the take home salary.
No, not the take home. This is kind of like a base salary of the year broken down by month and then hourly wage. Yeah, pre-tax, but you think off a 2-year degree, that's pretty good money. Think about it, a 19-year-old. That's pretty decent money right there. But that's just being a technician. You go on to learn more about CAD and architectural design, and you may be able to design 3D print turbine engine, aerospace, or Williams International. So that's just the beginning of the scale you're working with. Next slide. And then this is another screen with just the data showing how you just a 3D image technician, the pay scale for Michigan annually, 86,000. Pay goes up. So this is where it's headed, and there's just so much more opportunity to grow in the field. Think about being a technician, think about being a manager, director, or owner of a company. learning problem solving skills that they're going on. That's what they're learning. People look, oh, you building toy. No, it's much deeper than that. That's just to get them hooked, get them interested, you know. Next slide. And then this is the world impact, career readiness, you know, helping them to get ready for college or trade, academic engagement in math, science, art, leadership development, which I just spoke about, you know, building their confidence, let them know you can do this. Okay, some young ladies that come and came to our class, they were like the best students. And I said, yeah, they were. They weren't confident that, oh my gosh, I can 3D print. Yes, you can 3D print. Entrepreneur, you can make a business out of it. You ever seen those big lion chains, the big bulky chains with the lions on it? I went to a basketball game at West Bloomfield. My son was there. We went to a different school. I can't remember exactly which school. I had his kid, and they were 3D printing the chains with the school logo, just like the lion chain. And it was silly. So you think about entrepreneurs. And then as we discussed before, you know, with Open University, we want to continue to build that momentum, not just here, but we're circling back to home because we want to help students. And this is a little bit more data about our outcomes. 40% increase interest in STEM, 35% improvement in critical thinking and collaboration skills, 25% improvement in academic engagement and metrics. Some of the parents told us that the kids started doing a little bit better in some of the areas with critical thinking after they finished, you know, taking our classes. It's the small impact that makes the bigger impact that leads to more of a greater, you know, future for their lives. You know, giving them the confidence to let them know, hey, I can do this.
We had the opportunity to visit. We went out to LA to visit the conference. One of the things that we saw the kids were doing something specifically like this, and they were creating ankle. They would do the walk and the steps. They were in the 6th grade, and they were actually creating specific things like this and various games and things like that. But it gave them something. And these were kids who had difficulty in math and English. They said because of what they were doing, they improved in the school experience, especially in high school. This is big.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
What about you?
Yep. And to ask why we're here today. We're asking to partner with you all. We want to, and I'm not sure exactly, I know there are some classes through like OTEC, CTE program. I know ATAP is not a part of within the district, but I know they have CTE program. But even implementing the 3D printing design, I hear some of the kids that were in our class at Open Hub, they said they have a little bit of 3D printing or they might have the more manufacturing, you know, type tabletop printers. But the teaching about what we're teaching them the basics. So when they learn the basics, they can continue to grow and learn how to run bigger and greater machines. And one thing I forgot to add is we were also part of the Project Diamond through Oakland County. We went through that program. James did the training for 10 weeks and we were able to obtain a 3D printer. So, you know, that was a great program, you know, because it gave us a lift. We could offer elective or after school programming, and it's creating, again, pathways. Everybody may not want to go to college for 4 years. Maybe a certificate program. And from what we know in our interaction with OCC, I believe they're on the verge of creating the additive technician position. Not sure how far in the future, but I did have a conversation with their leadership over there. So they're in the process of creating a certificate program as well. So, and all, you know, we can turn the classroom into like an innovation.
Right.
You know, you got kids that, like I said, may want to become entrepreneurs. They want to dream. They want to design. They want to build. It's possible. It is. I think that was the last part.
That's what we're going to focus on
is just a showcase of some of the things, and I'll pass a few things around and just explain to you. See if anybody can guess what these are. Guess what that is. These right here. Ever think about going to the grocery store? This is a prototype. Prototype. And even though most of the materials are plastic, you can print and mix materials.
Is it
To make it
like
stronger.
heat resistant or like?
Yes, different, like the PLA plastic that we use is a basic, but we do have other materials that are stronger, and you can intermix metals, carbon fiber with plastic and it makes it stronger.
So you all made all of these items?
Yeah, these are like prototypes. If y'all had, anybody go to Audi? Anybody go to
Oh, 'cause
Audi?
it has a current on it.
Anybody go to Audi?
Hmm.
You need a quarter?
Oh my
You
goodness,
see
I
the system.
like.
Who go to Audi?
You see the system, girl. Ah, let me get, my wife go all the time.
What color you want?
This is a.
Oh, man, she can.
Whatever.
Where you put the quarter at?
Oh, now,
Blue.
What color?
If she got blue, I take over.
Oh, you want black?
Black.
Okay.
Oh, now you
Want
did.
blue?
It's gonna work for real.
What color? Yeah, it works.
All these
Look
here.
at that.
Anybody else? Audi?
Oh, this is great.
I'll take
This is good. My wife go all the time.
I think it's fine. Thank you.
You can get it.
There you go again.
Don't forget it in the cart though.
Yeah, and these right
Is
here,
that for like a grocery cart?
this is for grocery bags. You
Bag.
struggling with
Oh,
bags?
yeah.
You put like 3 bags on each side and instead of,
That's cool.
Oh, I can use
I
that.
like that. You give me no way to know. I didn't get to see those. Those are nice.
I mean, you think about practical
That is so
design
cool.
and everything.
I like that.
It's like little practical things, you know?
Yeah, cause I'm lazy. I carry about 7 bags.
Everybody that one trip.
That is nice.
Yeah, and this right here, I know you guys can see from here, but this is just like a design like Comic-Con or anybody that's interested in that. You can tell
You know what it is, right?
real heavy.
I do now. When I looked at it, I thought it was Sparty from Michigan State, but it's
know what?
It's the fact.
I can't.
Yeah, it's a Panther, and it's like a prototype design, so it's, you know, like I said, it's just, you know, to keep the kids interested. You can think about Christmas and like unique gifts that you want to give people. What's your favorite gift?
What's my favorite character?
Uh,
I used to when I was a kid. I used to like Thor.
yes,
Okay.
we started this year.
He used to whoop your butt with a hammer.
See, like right at my.
This nice, though. This is nice.
Creating stuff.
And these two, I'll let James explain those real quick. And then we got our last item.
This right here is a prototype design from a young man who needed to have a badge scanner placed in a certain position. Now, when they designed it, they had a place where they have to do this to come in the badge, but they couldn't access it. So he needed something at a 45-degree angle. So I designed this adapter plate that fits on here. It's a device that scans to here and it snaps onto there. So it will be mounted on the wall, slow, placed in a 45-degree angle. On the wall. But this is all 3D printed and CAD design.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
This is a prototype design of a turbine engine. And this is all 3D printed. It's up to bolts and the screws. And you turn it, and it shows the actual functions of the blades as it turns in different areas. You can turn it. So if you were trying to explain to somebody how does the engine work, this would be a prototype design you would show them as this turns. And you can hook a servo motor up to this to actually make it run by itself. But again, all of this is 3D printed, this is plastic. The cost effective for companies that's switching over to doing prototype designs instead of creating out of metal or steel, this is a lot cheaper. More effective, more efficient ways of doing things.
What is the largest thing you all have printed or put together?
I had a client reach out to me, who was a
are just some of the, things that showcase for our students, and this design is in there, it's in a different color. But, entrepreneurs dealing with, cake design.
That's
Cake
what I
toppers.
said when I saw this, I was like, that would be cool for me to.
Mm-hmm.
Cake toppers.
Is it light or? Yeah, that's not light.
Good.
Not heavy at all.
No, I hear it.
Yeah. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so we want to build a future one layer at a time. Every child is a maker, every classroom is a workshop of possibility. And this is our last slide, and then we have our contact information. So thank you to Dr. Hannah, all of the members of the board. Thank you for allowing us to share this time, to get this presentation to you. This is our contact information on the board. We just happy to be here for the opportunity just to come before you,
Sure.
to give you the nuts and bolts in person, to let you know what we do. It's not just about the toys and what have you. This is real deal, like billion-dollar industry. This is doable.
Absolutely.
It is something that's possible, along with being doable.
Absolutely.
And we believe in infinite possibilities. The 3D printing, the spectrum is so wide.
So with your 12-week program, how long is your class session?
How long is the class session? What did you say, about an hour and a half?
I think it would be like a standard class time.
Like a standard class time? Yeah, it'd be a standard class time.
So a man at my mature age, can I take a class? Go?
But we normally say middle school and high school, 11 and up, because you think about their attention span. We try to teach a little younger than that, it doesn't work. Don't work for the young ones. They're not quite there, but when you get 11, 12, you're curious, want to learn, you're like, oh, I want to do that. So for the most part, that's it. Did anybody have any questions?
And how many, so if it was a 12-week program, how many days a week? Monday and Friday?
She said she had.
It wouldn't have to be every day. It could be like an elective class.
I got you.
Depends. It depends. It could be every day, Monday through Friday. It depends on the alignment with the school schedule. Or it could be 3 days a week. It could be, I wouldn't say 2, but maybe 3.
And then after-school opportunities?
After school opportunities. That's a possibility.
So my question is, what would the cost be to the district?
Possibly.
Small part.
I wouldn't be able to give you that right offhand, but I can get back to you if I get your information.
Do the kids get some type of certification recognition?
They can receive a certificate until we become what's called, there's a license that goes along through like Michigan, not quite Michigan works, but you can get a license to become like a, kind of like a entity, educational entity, where we can provide certificates. Not that far to get the actual certification or like apprenticeship, but we can give them a certificate to say, you accomplished and you went through this program, and then there's a certificate to say that you completed it.
What additional training follow-up do you have in place? So once they do this, where would you, okay, hypothetically, I went through this 12-week training, I'm excited, I want to continue. What's your next step? Or would you just
No,
farm them out?
no. Our next step is we're currently in touch with Oakland University right now, and we're in touch with OCC. So we have some things that are kind of
You will be a
on the
feeder.
horizon.
Feeder to
Correct,
them.
correct.
And that's good. How many, program attendees would you initially look for the school to provide? Students,
As a whole or per class?
a whole. Are you gonna go grade level, or are you gonna go age? How would you select?
It would be age level. So I would say middle school, maybe 6 to 8. I wouldn't mix high school and middle school together.
What's the number of attendees would you,
Per class,
yeah,
per class,
per group session?
We did 10.
12.
10.
10 to 12. 10 to 12. That's easy. Because normally there's 2 instructors, and then as we're growing and continue to add on for our staff, and we may be able to take on more.
So, I'm probably going way ahead of myself. To get them involved, would you do a survey or interest, and then
know basic math, and what else would you say would be?
Just basic math.
Basic math, it wouldn't be algebra, it wouldn't be geometry, it wouldn't be for that level. Because when you're doing calculations in the system, and you're calculating in the software, you're plugging in the numbers. But then we're teaching you to gauge size by millimeters. So that's where we can come into play, and as long as they can understand like what millimeters are, and we can help with that. Correct. Does that answer? Anybody else, any other questions for me?
No.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Excellent job. Nice.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. All right, moving down our agenda, we're now to committee reports. Under committee reports, I know we probably have not had any meetings as of yet, but I just wanted to put that on there. So this will be the space that we will, talk or get updates from your committee, but if there was any information from any of the respective committees, you guys can share.
So Kevin just, I mean, trustee, Rose just mentioned that the school program, we have a meeting about.
The 11th. It was changed from tomorrow to the 11th.
Thank you. One more announcement, policy. 28. October 28th, from 10 to 11:30.
Thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda is the 2025. I did 2025 Q conference recap. If anybody want to share what their takeaways from, or any feedback updates they got from the, conference, who would love to hear? All right.
So, I did a few classes, but the one that stuck out most reminds me of
I get that for you. I get it.
what we're broaching the conversation around the peace project, the cross school, you know, so it was three of us in there. And just how they spoke about repurposing the building to use it as a community space to serve the needs of the community. So that was just an amazing thing to see that we're heading in a great direction for our community. And we have the building to allow the partnership, so that was one of the great experiences that I had at Q. The night out at the museum was great, and just the experience overall, it was short and sweet.
So one of the classes that impressed me, of course, it's about the audit. And it's very, this particular lady, she joined the school board and she saw various red flags, such as I have. And she was able to get an investigative audit. And they found a lot of disturbing things. So I believe we need an audit as well. I have it. Just a picture. But anyway, I think it's imperative to the Tulsa Public Schools. I think I read Cindy Bird. Anyway, the point of the class was she told us to follow your instinct. Any red flags need to be investigated. multi-million-dollar corporation such as ours would have had one, by this board's own admission, we haven't had one in quite some time. We've had the audits. And she also pointed out, like, we have Yin Yo and whoever they are.
Yo,
Um,
yeah.
The same people should not do audits 5 years. Once they've done 5 years, you need to break and go to someone else. Reason being, and it's very logical, because after a period of time, they become complacent, and then who's to say they're not working in concert with someone else to deceive us? So, I will be pushing it, and she also gave instructions how to, involve your governor, your state's governor. So I will be trying to force this board into an audit, because as we look at our cuts coming down, we won't know where we are until we see what we have. And we're continuously spending money, especially the way you guys voted on those books. And we have closets and book rooms full of books, and any good teacher can spiral up or spiral down. So we're wasting money on materials. And then we buy these materials and then we don't use them. So you bought them before I got here, but anyway, just know that my passion to get an audit has not died. In fact, it's been fueled by going to that class. I thought it was a good time to go. It's always nice to build relationships, establish rapport with people. And then the other thing about the Cube in particular, to be dealing with other urban districts. So it's good, which we already know, you're not isolated. But the thing of it is to glean from those people what's working and what's not. And it was a good opportunity. I was able to share some things with districts that we did even back when I became a teacher, on some of the things they did to recruit other teachers that our personnel was not executed well. Other than that, it was good, it's good, and it's always good to learn from others. So I take that as a plus. The Cube is a plus for us to go.
I know that,
I'm good, thank you.
I wanted to, because I know we're talking about, you heard you say about the audit, and you just mentioned red flags. So if you could share what you see as red flags, so that way we're on.
What's on your clothes?
Because I don't want it to seem dismissive, but I just want to know if there are things that you are aware of that maybe some other trustees are not aware of. We can all be on the same page, so we can really just share this, especially based on some of the facts.
I mean, some of the red flags just right off were the monies that we paid consultants, the monies that were allocated in addition to this, and the lack of having money itemized or line items of who's it going. We group a lot of stuff. And within the grouping, a lot of stuff can be hid, and I might even use the word hid, just not disclosed. I think that's better. Not disclosed, appropriated properly, and then I also think we could realign some of that money to better support things that will support the students. I think we can better support our teachers. All as educational stakeholders, if we truly had an audit, because we are totally top heavy in the salary. And if we could, like, take a little money from here, and a little money from there, and a little money from here, we could probably do a lot of things, seriously. If we do look at that budget for appropriations, that would be more. Look at none of the cuts too.
Madam Chair, you have a couple questions?
First of all, good evening, everyone. As you guys know, I've done catastrophe at my house, and contractors get every day to do it, so I apologize for my I don't know, to be fair. So anyway, thank you. Moving to what Trustee Dooley said, I would like my red flag is the inconsistency with our Yeah. What was,
Payments that were made without.
yes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So that was just one instance. And how do we know it wasn't several for the duration of the meeting? And I think it's imperative that we, especially because of that, we have a thorough, like you said, a forensic, investigative forensic audit, because we don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Trustee Julie and I came in January, we begged for a budget. We didn't get one to March. The one from March was from July to December of 2024. So we did not get the year that we were trusting. And on that alone, it is imperative that I support Trustee Julie in us receiving a response.
And to additionally add to that, was she read my mind and took what I wanted to say. I was wondering, my concern is that we did not have the budget. That incident alone is one that had a red light to me because of things that didn't speak again. Not only that, plus we were not able to see any information from this big group that we have in place right now, or where we are. School started September. We said at least we looking at the budget. That is forward. Lastly, this last board meeting is coming up this month. Because we're supposed to have a budget review every month. We've not had a budget review, and I have to say almost.
Right, so you know, Pro Nexus just came here in September.
That's
Just
right.
brought in consultants.
But they can't be late.
Yeah,
Not
so,
cut you
but
off.
they are planning to report out after that, at our next meeting.
Here's my concern. Yes, they have. But they do have access to this that we have not seen. They can go back and give us a whole budget and take a look at it and see what we're doing. We haven't seen a budget since what? Last? Did we even see a budget before then? Yeah. So as far as updates, so there's still some information. That might still previous CFOs. We don't know what else.
And I would add this, just Robert's statement, there, what is it called, the threshold, where, superintendent spend up to, I believe more spending has exceeded that $25,000 mark in a couple of years.
Well, recommended that prior to you guys coming on, because it's concerned we had threshold money, that those threshold spendings be documented, that at some point in time, we got the most buildings what was spent. And the concern that I had with SEC came, remember our question, they came in last April. And never made contact with the chief of security. But then I asked, you paid? They said, yeah, somewhere between 25 and 35. Remember they didn't give us a number? Get what I'm saying? And so those are the things that I'm talking about. Because I only knew they were here because I got a phone call. But then to also be paid without it. Did you guys know that these were paid?
Oh, no, of course. I didn't.
So that's what I'm saying.
Are you talking about the
SEC that came in and gave us.
So my understanding was that was a grant funded.
Doesn't matter, but it was over the $25,000 threshold, so they came to us, we could do a grant. Yes, yes, anything over, she has a limit of 25,000, but that was supposed to be documented to let us know. You guys didn't even know they were in the district. I only knew because the security saw them and called me and said what they were doing. The board didn't know. And then they were paid. He said somewhere between 25 and 30. You want to go, whether it's grant money or money that she could use to her threshold. But even if it's her threshold, that should have been documented because we said from that point forward, last year, y'all remember, we made agreement that the superintendent has to write down and let us know within, if it need to be documented on what she's spending the threshold. No one knew of SEC. So that's already.
In addition to that, Trustee Rose, when ProNexus came and presented the budget, it wasn't a budget to actual. Okay, so they presented, so they didn't produce numbers that show, it was last meeting. They did not, you missed it, but they did, my concern is, they did not produce numbers that show where we are versus what the approved budget versus where we are now. And my other concern with that is, specifically, food service and student activities have the exact amount to the dollar, $302,950 on both of those lines. For me, feel like that's a bit unrealistic that two separate entities and two separate services will have to the dollar, the exact dollar amount.
What was it?
It was
What's the
food-
item?
It was food services and student activities. It was $302,950.
That was actually budgeted for them or money they spent?
They didn't give us a report of what was
Oh,
budgeted.
so you don't know what the 392,000 was?
No, I don't. It's just the exact same amount.
I wasn't there.
And explain to me how two different services coincidentally has the exact dollar amount on our budget. That's a red flag. Yep. My other one. As it relates to the threshold, the concern that I have, the ongoing concern that I have with the threshold is that I understand that some may believe that we are a cohesive group with Dr. Leverett, but at the end of the day, we are responsible, all seven of us are responsible for everything that goes on in this district. I have no idea what Dr. Leverett spends on, and God forbid if I add, because I would do the badge from her. Everything that I asked about, the furnace, at peace, everything I asked about falls under her threshold. As the board of directors, we have a diligence to our duty to our community to account for every dollar that's spent in this district. And I can't account for a dime because I get notified on accident, like, oh yeah, we got that fixed. Well, you told me it was $480,000, and now you're telling me it's already fixed. And I sent the email that said, who was the vendor? How much was it? Did I get that response? Nah.
I think the 400,000 plus was the place.
But nevertheless, it was
There
repaired.
was a lot less.
But how much was it? Does anybody know how much it was?
And where
I
did it
don't know exactly.
Who was
how
the
much it
vendor?
was. I don't know who the vendor is.
Who approved it?
I'm taking it as a perspective as when we go through our classes, okay? And this is where we talk about boots on the ground and being involved with day-to-day activities and things like that. I'm gonna go back to the perspective that they gave us, and I'm gonna stick with this. We're looking at a district, we're looking at the district from an airplane, AKA high standpoint. We're looking down. We're not in the weeds, we're not in the thick of it. We shouldn't be in the weeds, we shouldn't be in the thick of it. I'm looking at it like that. We have one person underneath us. You wanna call it a small pilot plane, whatever you wanna call it, flying the book. That's who we go to. If we have concerns, if we have issues, that's who we go to. Me personally, I don't need to know the details, how much you spent, how much your check was, how you do this, when did that get done. I don't need those specific details. We're here to govern. We're not here to run this district. We're here to govern. Now you can govern it by policies, by policies and regulations. That's how we help run this district, through our policies. If we want to make changes, we need to make changes through our policies.
You need to know the information in order to be able to make what's
The
just
things,
possible.
okay, understand that. But we have policies in place for a reason.
We need to follow the policy, because as a board member, policy states that I, as a board member, cannot be withheld any document that I request from our superintendent.
And
And
get any document you want.
I don't get them, that's the problem, is that I don't get them. So therefore, I don't need to be involved with the day-to-day. I don't really care about that. What I care about is, if I ask, how much was it? It seems for the last 10 months, nothing has come across this board, and everything has fell under our threshold.
And let's go to policy. Policy says anything over $25,000. Will you finish?
No, I'm saying we just kind of jumped.
No. But I'm going to what Marcus was saying in today's policy. Policy says anything over $25,000 threshold has to be approved by the board. We're talking policy. I'm not doing day to day. You come and tell me that the boiler is so bad that it need, a replacement is $400,000. It's damn gonna cost over $25,000 repair. And that should have come in front of the board, Marcus. That's policy.
We don't, nobody knows.
But we don't, it's over 25,000. You can't tell me to fix that boiler to keep it going, it's 25. We know
I can't
that.
tell you 'cause I don't know.
I do.
To be honest with you, I don't
Look,
know.
I do. I
You see
listen,
the receipts?
when no.
I
Look.
requested them and I got it. I'm sorry, trustee.
Look, from 1999 to 07, them boilers was damn terrible when I was here. And it cost over $100,000 to fix the boilers. And you come to tell me we needed a brand new one is what they initially told us. But policy says, so how did it get fixed and how much did it cost? And if it was over $25,000 and we didn't see it, something is wrong.
And if I requested it just to verify,
Something
hey,
is wrong.
okay, it was $24,999.
Whatever.
Okay, then
Just tell us what
give
it is.
me the information per policy as a board member to the one employee of ours. I am per policy, I'm supposed to, it's a non-negotiable.
I agree with her, because one meeting they came in and said we needed a new boiler, and the next meeting they said it was taken care of.
Alright, so anything else to do, we were still on red flags
See,
based
open
on
it.
trustee two. Anybody else got any more red flags before we move
Okay.
down? Because everybody's gonna have a chance to give a recap as it relates to the new council, but no more red flags? Okay, but if there are, please make us aware of them, so that everybody is on. the
You
same page.
answered the one already, I got it.
Okay. Okay, alright, so for me, the Q conference, I have always enjoyed it, because that is a place where I feel like we are comparing apples to apples. Typically, we are always talking about the Pontiac School District, and we're comparing it to, some of our suburban school districts, and there's always a big gap. And so when we get to Q, that is a space where I feel like Trustee June said, I can learn from others as to what is happening in their urban district. What are some of the things that's working in their urban districts? Just feeling comfortable with sharing, this is our struggle, that's y'all struggle, and they typically look the same in terms of, other urban districts across this country. This year, I too enjoyed the class where we talked about how do we refurbish some of our old school buildings? How do we, instead of leaving them vacant, how can we repurpose them? So that was one. But I will say the highlight of my trip, was actually going to see County. Going to see the school in County. I had asked to, sign up for that tour, but I was told it was canceled, or it was full, so I couldn't go. So when I got there, I checked again, and they said it was full. But luckily, being, I guess, in the right place at the right time, when Vicky Bowman came down to the lobby, she told us that, hey, they got a bus out here where ain't nobody on there if y'all wanna go. So it was amazing to see how, and I know Trustee Garrett or Mr. Garrett had talked about Compton before because of his relationship with Makai, and to actually see it, I was inspired. It felt like a college campus. It felt like a place that was really conducive to learning. Just the space itself gave a whole different feel for education for our kids. So, of course, I was just all in the middle of the hood, but this beautiful space, it was great. It made me see the potential of what we could have, but not just because of the resources, to create and build something like that, but just what they pour inside of those schools. And this is why I've always said our CTE program here could be the key for Pontiac. It could be the
got big and dragged into it, and it actually turned out to be a good little visit overall. Just to see their CTE program at the middle school, it was amazing. It was amazing. All the stuff that the schools were doing in there, all of the technology that they had going on.
Oh, yeah.
The drones, yeah, they had all of that. The gaming systems was nice as well. State of the art high school, it was nice. It was nice. It was nice. They laid it out. I said they laid it out. Yes, it was very nice, and you got some little trinkets to go away with, some souvenirs and everything too. I haven't pulled my hat yet, and it's still in the closet. I did enjoy that one. Like I said, learned a lot. Also observed that a lot of stuff that they're doing was also implementing here in our school district, which leads us to be on the right track moving forward. Trying to inspire our young ones to be more enthused with education. Get them more involved as well as they proceed to the high school and stuff. So that was a good tour. And then one of the luncheons. I'm gonna let you talk about the Go Green because I was hoping you didn't say Go White while you was in there, but that was a nice little luncheon.
Nice little luncheon.
Let's see, what was this?
The one with Kaepernick was nice.
Yes,
That was good.
that was good. That was good too.
Brian Stevens.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Brian
Absolutely,
Stevens.
yes. When I say that was dynamic, that was dynamic. He talked a lot about transforming public education, and then leading with courage. And some of the stories he told was just, it was almost tearjerkers. No hard now. To sit there and look at the way our districts are running in the urban districts, and it's almost like it's unappreciated education. But then hearing history with him and his stories, and dealing with slavery and the racist stuff down in Alabama, and it really was an eye opener. It's an eye opener. It was definitely an eye opener. But it also lets me know that even though we're working hard and we've done a lot of work, there's a lot more work that needs to be done. And this is just in general. You can take that with a grain of salt, or however you want to look at it, but the work is not done. And there's a lot more work that needs to be done to change this system around for our urban districts. There are definitely impacts with this one. So that was very touching to me. That was one of my highlights within this district. But overall, it was nice. I enjoyed one night out. That was very different too. It added a little twist to it, so we did get to experience a little more history over there in LA, and a lot of the stuff that helped build them up to where they are today. It was nice. So overall, it was a good conference. I apologize for the all my little food. There was a lot of learning. There was a lot of learning that was done there over that short period. For a short 2 or 3 days, it was a lot.
I wish we could have been in a week.
That would have been long. I was already on the road for like day 2 or 3. That time difference.
Oh, yeah, time to get that.
That had me on the road.
That got me.
We got in late.
You got it.
Couldn't fall asleep.
You had to eat late.
But other than that, though, no, it was a good conference. Good conference.
That was my first conference. It was very informational, informative, and enlightening for me. I have an entire 20 pages of notes that I didn't bring. I would have preferred to present this in front of the community, because the community, I feel we owe them an explanation as to what we're doing when we're all out of town. So I would prefer to have done this in front of the community so they can hear.
Thank you, you should.
Still need that, though.
No, I'm talking about at our, I mean, that's, at our recorded board meetings. I don't know what anybody else is doing. I'm talking about what we do as a board. That had to do with me. Anywho, the most impactful seminar I attended, I had a full agenda for all the days I was there, including the last day. The most impactful was Kalamazoo School District and how they completely transformed the way that they revisited how they disciplined the kids based upon trauma and how they reduced the amount of absences, all with a new superintendent in a year and a half. And I stated this at the 2 more meetings ago, when I said that we are not doing our due diligence to the community by not having community meetings. And, you know, nevertheless, it was not well received. Kalamazoo had 70 for one thing. They had 70 community meetings in 2 years. And the one impactful thing that the superintendent said that I wrote down is that you have to be built for this. It doesn't matter your credentials, you have to be built for this.
You gotta wanna do it.
Yep, absolutely. So I had a whole lot more, but that's what I want to share. That was the most important.
All right, understandable. Couple things. The main thing about, and I'm just saying, you're right, that was a good class. Marcus almost got me. You know what? And the guest speaker that did that, her and I, we saw each other 5 different occasions. We had a class together, and she sat in front of me. She was so enthralled, just being there, being part of that, be able to speak. And she was good. She was good. She had a good time. In Compton, one of the things that we used, I had the opportunity to speak with the kids, specifically the kids in high school. And they made a decision to change their curriculum, just like St. Louis did, to meet the kids where they are and make them better from that point. And I went to all races. I went to, because you know, in Compton High, most was Hispanic. But I went to black kids, white kids, and Hispanic, and asked them what made this, you know, so intriguing and fun to do. The one class we went where they had the virtual goggles, right? Part of the class was taught from the board, right? And they had the whiteboard, and they did that. And then the remaining of the class was taught with the goggles. And they said one key word. Fun. I talked to a teacher, and he said, and a Caucasian teacher, and he says, I initially didn't want to come here because of what I heard. He said, but I don't ever want to leave. He said, because these kids are performing. Right? He said, we had a 98% graduation because kids love coming to school. They made it fun. And they incorporate, they met the kids where they are. What do kids love on Saturday at home? In class. And they had the goggles and everything. They were able to see the work that we're doing through virtual. And it made it fun. Those babies we saw in middle school, creating their own steppers on their ankles. And they did it with computers. Programming. They made it. That's 6th grade. It was fun. And that's what I got from it. And how they treat us when they did the band. But my point is, and I say this all the time, and we have to take a look at the curriculum. Because when we talk about, when we go into discussion about what's her name found out in the community, the majority of the teachers say they don't like what's being talked about. Right? Remember that? That was one of the things we're supposed to talk about in the school improvement committee. The teachers don't like how it's delivered, whatever that curriculum they call it. They want to do something different. They want to do something different. Meet the children where they are and get them to where you want them. That was one of the things. But then too, and I was very intrigued in this class about trauma and how trauma affects our children. They said that 85% of their kids that they consider special ed suffer from trauma, in-home trauma. Trauma like seeing mom and daddy arguing, hearing, fighting, in-home trauma. But they weren't special, they were suffering from trauma. So this district learned how to deal with kids that are suffering from this. And they had specific things that they did, right? With the evaluator. And one of the things that I thought about, and I wanted to bring it to the board, is things to trauma. And it can be cost efficient. Is that I truly believe that this district to hire a part-time psychiatrist or psychologist. They give you the opportunity to be able to evaluate emotionally and for medicine. And even if you don't want to pay the license, right? You could go to colleges or med school and get interns that can come into the district and can either do it for pay or for school to be able to meet with kids and talk with them. However, we need to set a partnership up with because it's important. I got a call that in the month of September alone, over 45 kids were sent to special ed department evaluated special ed. Only because Tommy was cussing at the child. Only because Susie wouldn't sit with her seat. That's an issue. Because if it's 40 a month, you get what they want. That's a lot of special ed children being evaluated. It needs to be rethinked and looked at. And trauma was one of the things that I learned in this class. A lot of our kids, you know our community, what these kids see. They are traumatized, even with their own friends. It is, but
Yeah.
so I had a long talk with Ms. Williams. She agreed to some things that we can do. And I felt like the school we coming up and talk about this how we can work together. Lastly, which my buddy didn't mention, him and I hung out one night. We decided we gonna walk on down to Carter. Hang out. We hanging out with some board members from Westland. We saw what was actually realistically happening. We saw they weren't ice agents, but they were close to ice agents. Actually arresting someone in France. That's where Henry was spoken. All I saw was on the news. This is real. And remember that, Marcus? We were walking up. As soon as he stepped out the door. And I mean, to see it in person. You haven't seen, I haven't seen it on TV. But as I explained to open school, the attendants, we're concerned that our students here, because ICE has been in the area. And that's one of the things we talk about. And kids suffer trauma from it, especially our, listen, y'all, we have 48% of our students are brown kids, Hispanic, Puerto Ricans, right? 48% removed it from the district school. And these kids are suffering from trauma now. There's the thought of having to get on the bus, at the bus stop, or even in your home. I've had people, ICE come to my subdivision and remove a father from his home. You saw that. But these are realistic things that are going on, and that's why I'm making this point. And so, when I spoke to open schools last night, we talked about attendance in school in the cities. This is discussion with the state. This is discussion with the they're no longer looking at charging status and forms. Meaning, if you miss school, you cross court and not going to charge. That's a discussion. So, we're going to be called to the rock and hard places and things like that. And after that, no longer charging. That's a discussion. So we need to look at differently how we're dealing with our attendance. Because we don't have the kids here. And then, if they're not being held out. And some parents, they're not going to charge for their educational level. And some parents are doing specific, whatever the case may be, the kids aren't coming. And what can we do as a district? Listen, I think as a board, with the superintendent, we need to take a look at what can we do that we can change and improve on or assist. I heard us when we lost the agents, but I also talked with someone that said that possibly they grant something that the agent got without having to give it to the family. So that too is a discussion, but it's highly important that we need to take a look at it because you can't have this situation without the fire. So those just are some of the things that I saw and gave me ideas. I really, I enjoy Cuban I truly enjoyed this. The class was, we were extremely to me. I had fun in class. But this one, I was truly into. I had a good time. Conference at the
So make a comment on your, about the grant writing. It's a atrocity that we have a grant writer in place that does not write grants.
Oh, good.
Can, that person,
Grant manager.
we have a grant that can't write a
We have
grant. I
grant
think that's
managers.
asinine and
Yeah.
destructive.
Yeah, people need to do. I agree.
Alright, moving down to city fund and timeline for election is coming up. And I know there was some questions about, the timeline and us being behind the ball, it just seemed like everything was pretty much rushed. So I did ask Cynthia to provide me with the timeline just to show what we've done. And so I just wanna share, what we've done and then what they are planning to do in these last 30, or less than 30 days before the election.
Let me start, Madam Chair. Did we ever take this to the community? Did I miss us involved in the community? Because I know I was after the meeting too. Did I miss us taking this or having, the community involved to hear their feedback on this? Go ahead. Go ahead. No. So that's why I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook, but we get to.
They're killing us. This,
Killing us today.
Okay, so June 30th, resolution,
Yeah.
resolution approving a building and sites fund upon July 9th, after committee updates to the board, July 16th, after committee updates to the board regarding communications update, July 23rd, after committee updates to the board, communication updates, August 5th, revised talking points emailed to the board, August 6th,
You have questions for 1, 2, and therefore.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for providing the timeline, but I'm gonna go back, your timeline started in June. I'm gonna go back to March 17th, when I asked Daryl Stevens, when he presented to the board that we didn't miss a deadline. At that time, I asked for a timeline so that we could inform the community and that we didn't miss another deadline, okay? Never received it. I did get the email, talking points, never made any effort to speak with the community. We didn't, we just didn't do it. I understand about the missed opportunity at city council. I'm personally, insulted that, the city council president / mayoral candidate spoke on something that had to do with the Board of Education. It is 7 of us. I understand that, it was reached out, to a select group of people, but that was the first time the community heard about the city board. And it was from city council, not the Board of Education. That makes us look like we are unprepared and that we do not care about our community input and we don't respect them enough to give them any advance notice, any communication, nothing. And that was on March 17th when I asked for that. And I followed up on April, I'll give you an exact date. I followed up with that with Daryl Stevens again in the board meeting on April 7th. And I said, I still haven't received the timeline. What are we doing for the community? What are we doing regarding the single board? I'm gonna submit another deadline. So I'm gonna go back all the way to March. Now we're in October, talking about we need to have our boots on the ground and push the agenda. People are absentee voting. We missed that opportunity, and that's on us because we didn't set an expectation with a date for it to be completed. Every time I asked about it, I was told, I'm working on it, they're working on it. That was March 17th. This is October. So yes, I'm frustrated because I'm tired of the excuses. We have played in our community face with this sinking fund, and we would, I hope things go well for this district, but, we have no one to blame ourselves.
Shaquana, and then,
So I was saying that we should have had a town hall because when we went out for last time, we should have been out there in the summertime doing meeting our community and doing the block parties and stuff. I believe that's why we were successful this time and it took 30-some years for us to pass it. And it was,
Bond.
yeah, it's because we were out there early speaking of these things. That's why I said that we have to have town hall meetings and stuff like that. Because when I went to see y'all on Tuesday, they told me up. And I was there for business, not for, and so they stood up and asked what they said. They was like, how dare we not come to them and present that we were having that we were going out on this. And it was already on the ballot and our seniors and early voting had already voted. And when they turned it over, they was like, they had no knowledge. We were supposed to do this a long time. Like when it was presented to us in March, we should start doing it. That was the way that we were able to pass it last time. A lot of people see it and they say they're not.
That was my, same experience to get phone calls asking me how to vote. And I didn't even know where it was going. So I know the notes reflect that we were, the minutes or information was disseminated. However, we never had an opportunity for discussion according to what you just reported. So, I was in a quandary as to how to, tell someone how to vote. And then, when I was, these last couple of events I was in, I too have gotten tore up, and I felt to some extent an idiot talking to these people because I could not could have did it, and I was never, asked to go or stay or anything, so I think we need to, not just limit it to one or two people, send a request out to all seven and see who's available, because you didn't know my schedule, you know what I'm saying? And it could have been like, you know, just didn't think. It's Kevin, one day ago, and just didn't think, so, dropped the ball. So moving forward, I think all information, no matter how we go. That's not the point. No, when I say drop the ball, I mean, you did what you thought to do. You didn't think to be inclusive of the rest of us. Well, we can't keep going with the past.
Correct, but I
was
dropped the ball. I
board.
sent the email to who I wanted, I knew the president and Kim.
So now I would have to move to where does this I, the mandate of power come from?
The president could have sent the correspondence back out to whoever. I know that I sent it to two trustees, however, it went out after that, it left my hand.
And that's what I'm saying, in the sense of you, I'm not attacking you or mad or nothing, it's over. But what I'm saying is, moving forward, we're a 7-member team, and I think at all times, all of us should get the information being disseminated. Who has a mandate of power when we all have one vote to decide who can get the information and who don't? I guess that's wrong.
No, and just to respond to that, and I know you had something to say, Vicky Bowman was leaving out of town. And then she made me aware that, hey, I'm out of town, I was supposed to be at City Hall tonight, I'm not gonna be there because I had to leave, so I gave the information to Mike, that if somebody else could go, please do it.
So let's stop you right here. So instead of giving it to Mike, you had 5 more people that you didn't give it to that are on the board. No, I'm just.
No,
No, what she said, she talked to him, said she was gonna be there, she gave him the information. I hear what you're saying, that when there's supposed to be a public, or if a trustee is needed to be someplace, then a full communication should go out to the entire board. I think it was last minute, as she recalled, hey, I was supposed to be at this place, he has the information, I'm not gonna be there. It was last minute, the day of, I said, I have something to do tonight, I can't go. So I said, well, if he got the information, then let him say it and we'll figure it out going forward. That was a once, I don't think that's something that's normal, it just was a last minute, hey, I forgot, I'm not gonna be here. That was not a policy, that is not a norm for the board, it was something that happened that time, but because he gave the information, then it was taken in a negative way, like how dare he, and this looks bad. I mean, everybody got their own thoughts about how and what they saw. He could have said he's not saying anything because she's not there or the board isn't there to present it. So again, that was just a one-time thing. That wasn't a whatever. So we can take it however it is, but definitely point noted that if the board is presenting or sharing information that the whole board is aware of. So nobody will feel like it's a power or privilege or any of that. It was a, hey, I forgot.
That's what I'm
Way out of town. So,
she wanted to speak, and then I just got to.
Vicky Bowman, you didn't drop the ball because if you couldn't do the commitment and you communicate to the president dropped the ball by not informing the entire board, especially because it was the first time the community was going to hear about something with the Board of Education. I understand you said you could take it for what it is, let's take it for fact. Quite often, information is disseminated in silos when we are a board of 7. And like Trustee Julie said, you didn't know my schedule. I would have been glad to go and speak on behalf of the board, but I didn't have the opportunity. As many of times, I don't have the opportunity. It depends on who it's told to. It shows the lack of inclusion with this entire board. That shows a lack of inclusion and it's consistent. It's not a one thing. It's very consistent. One other thing I wanted to mention was, to give you a date, February the 26th, we have board governance. Past Superintendent Williams gave us a purple folder with the timeline and everything whoever was here in 2017, the pamphlets, the mailers, everything on February the 26th. So when I mentioned it on March 17th, and there was no movement, I already knew it was behind the timeline based on what Kelly Williams gave to us. February 26th. So there is absolutely no excuse. So if I know what y'all did in 2017, I wasn't a parent here, I definitely wasn't on the board. Why didn't the people who are put in place to move this forward did not follow through, and it was given to them on February 20th, probably before that, because it was given to us on February 26th. So why was there no follow with the sinking? I'm done.
So I'm glad you made a statement. One statement, this is just not a board initiative. Teachers, everybody should be involved in this. You just said something that's important on how we do. This. I wasn't here 17.
I got the vote.
Yeah, but he, administration has played. There's no reason why. It's not about the board dropping the ball. I'm saying that's an issue. City council. That's just something that happened. However, this is information should have been disseminated quite some time ago because there is a playbook on how we should do this. You gave the dates way back when it was mentioned. That's what we should have started. The issue that I had, I really called from my councilman. They said he did his absentee ballot. He said, man, why you guys didn't get this information out? We knew the absentee ballots were coming out. September. That information should have been disseminated way before then because of the absentee. A lot of people go absentee. The onus is just not on this board. Listen, I am not going to go another year. It's been 5 years in a row that we are not holding the person that we employ accountable for holding others accountable for doing their job. I'm not going to do that. I'll let you know now. You can sit in with the MASB man and you can tell us all these points where we should be. If the shit ain't being done, I'm not voting. I'm just letting y'all know that. Because one of the things that we talked about pertains to evaluation, it was told us by our superintendent that she's going to evaluate. Already got a problem with the curriculum department. Lack of living up to the responsibilities of those people. But ain't no way in hell you're supposed to come to us 4 weeks later to vote on some books that should have been done with schools. That's another issue. However, y'all, we sitting at the table beating each other up about what we didn't do. Why we ain't beating up the people that work in the district to get this shit out?
Because we don't have, it's only a few of us.
It ain't no excuse.
No,
Sometimes.
it is an excuse because it's only a few of us that want to hold her accountable, but then when it comes down to it, it's I'm working on it, and that's acceptable.
And I hear you.
And it's not acceptable.
But that's an excuse. We shouldn't have to go through that. Because the 7 of us are not the only ones that need to be putting this information out. There's a playbook. Talk to Kelly Williams. She'll tell you. Oh, I had so-and-so do this, so-and-so do this. We visit the church here. Principal so-and-so went here. But we sitting here beating each other up. Something wrong.
Can I just say something?
I'm done.
I'm gonna chime in kind of into what,
I'm done.
considering that we have a governor's election coming up, we have an entire year that starts now. We have an entire year to get it back on the ballot and to do it properly.
If it don't fail.
If it doesn't,
If it doesn't pass.
but we
I understand
need
that.
to be intentional about it. And again, I sent out my information that I got from the last time,
I'm not pointing fingers.
No, I didn't take it as that in any
Okay,
regard.
yeah.
I'm just saying, we're hopeful, but the reality is whatever the reality is gonna be. But we have 2026 to really get in front of this thing because there's a governor's election this coming year and it. So, all else fails,
That's next year. It's
yes,
November.
yes. So we definitely need to get ahead of it. After November 4th, if it doesn't go the way we want, start November
And I agree with that, however, are we gonna come to agreement that we gotta start holding people accountable?
Absolutely.
And it's not always about pointing fingers, folks. People think because, I get tired of that. People think we're being mean and we were mean because we said this, we said that. Our kids are losing out if we don't get this. Listen, the majority of the stuff we're dealing with is adult shit. Listen, and I'm gonna leave you with this. What we did, I said, on fraternity. We work with the school. Do you know we registered over 100 seniors in the school? Because that was an initiative done by somebody else. We gotta start holding people, our person accountable to hold people. Like we're Marcus, we don't want to keep dwelling in the day to day. But if we ain't seeing it at that level, because I'm telling y'all, there's stuff going on in these schools that these principals aren't doing that's not being held accountable. It's all over the community. But we sit back because we don't want to hurt people's feelings.
I do.
I said we.
Oh, as a board, yeah, you're right.
I said we.
7 of us, yeah.
Because it's got to come from all of us. Listen, the majority is in the votes. And I'm not saying fire, get rid of. All I'm saying is hold accountable. And it ain't, I'm sorry, I'm not disrespecting you. Listen, I don't want to hear no more excuses about we got long-term subs, so we're missing out on it. We do that 5 years ago. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of the same old numbers, the same numbers we get. We got 2% increase each year. I'm sick of that. At some point in time, we got to pull them in the room and say, hey, why is it working in Clarkson, but it ain't working here? They got to say the difference. What's the difference? I already know.
I know too.
And it starts with the L, A, Z, Y. That's the main part. That's part of it. But we got to, y'all, I know this.
For oversight, we just have to start making hard decisions.
Making a hard decision, holding people, holding the superintendent accountable. This shit ain't working. It ain't working. Ain't no way in the world she should have had her people out there doing this stuff.
And we paying them
But
how
see,
much money?
ain't no way in the world. That's part of the
That's a
playbook.
lot of money.
Kelly Williams, and I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying what we did in the past.
And I got to go.
What we did when I was with Walter Burke, what he did. His people went out. They went to churches.
But we're paying people to do that. They get
Communication.
above $80,000
Well, they
per
pissed off.
person.
So they pissed off and they went,
200, that's
They
almost
pissed
a
off.
$250,000
They pissed off,
three people
so-
make.
But if you don't hold them accountable, they're not going to do the job.
We gotta hold one person accountable. That's
To hold
where it
them
starts.
accountable.
That's where it starts. We have to.
And I
We
spoke my
have
piece.
to hold
I've been
her
holding this for
accountable.
2 weeks.
And I think the other thing,
Are we not?
I'm
no,
not.
one last,
No.
one last comment. We just have to deal with the what and not the who.
Dr. Who? It's the what?
It's the what. And if we can separate the what from the who, then we will move forward.
If we accept no excuses from her, she's going to start not accepting excuses from her. That's a fact.
Just deal with the what.
We got to stop that.
Trying to know you got something else to say?
I don't.
Thanks, Doc. I've been holding this.
Government shutdown and the state budget. I don't know if anybody paid attention to the, most recent layoffs across the government.
Federal, state.
Federal.
Federal, yeah.
Yep. And the special ed.
Special ed.
So, yes,
Gone.
that will have some, implications on us.
It's gonna trickle down even more as these families are not making any money. You're gonna see it. So that's why it's imperative for us to know where we are with what we have, so we can see what we're gonna get and how we can realign our resources to best. Because we can't find ourselves in a situation where teachers don't get paid. Because we're gonna really be up.
Oh, we need creeping in.
And they increase the per pupil.
But we're not based on, because we're out of one level, we don't.
But we get these, but no,
We might lose money.
budget was out. When you're out of formula, you still get a specific amount of money to go up to where you were. So we're still receiving money. You read the letter? No. Oh, they're giving the stipend, they're giving the monies for the pupil, amount for pupils. Yeah, I read that. They approved that. They approved the extra money. They approved monies for lunch too.
And they also eliminated out of form districts. They eliminated.
I didn't see that.
Zeroed out for every district.
That's out of the form.
Every district.
Send me the letter, I can read that.
There's a lot of us that are out of
Every school that was out of district now, zero.
That's out of form.
Yeah, you get zero funding for out of formula now. You have to go to formula basically. That's what they forced me to do.
I didn't read that. Man, I got it. I'll pull it
So
up.
the point is, all of these things that are happening at the federal level, they are definitely going to impact us. And this is what we've been saying. We didn't know when we started this conversation back in, the fall last year before Trump was even in office. But we knew that if any of the things that he was talking about actually happened, that there was going to be an impact on districts like Pontiac. And so now we're starting to see things come into play based on what he said. And so I'm just saying all of this just for us to continue to be mindful that things are going to continue to shift, and I think things are going to get worse for urban school districts before they get better, because his target, as he has said, is to eliminate public schools, which is why he's pushing vouchers, trying to push and encourage people to go into private school. So I just wanted us to be mindful of things that are happening in the news and how they can and will have a negative impact on the Pontiac school district in one way or another. So I just wanted to make sure that we pay attention to that. All right, the next one on the agenda is our communications department update. And that's right, they took, as of Friday, which was May 10, the shutdown, they figured will continue into this week. They were off today because of Columbus Day, and they plan to return tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the next session. So it's still.
That's the Senate, we don't know when the House is going to be. He's kept them out for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
So things are happening
Now
now.
we get funding from federal too.
We do.
Nice good too.
Alright, so the next one is communications department, so I know we had, made a suggestion to Dr. Leverett that she look into communications departments. And so she sent over an email, and I think there were 3 firms that were listed. Ashley had not received their proposals yet, and they were supposed to have gotten back to her with their dollar amount, but she had not received them. I checked earlier today, but she did send over, one firm, Robin Schwartz, PR, proposal from them, which, we had received early on. And then there were 2 other, individuals, I think, that had submitted resumes and proposals for the position. One of them was a young lady that she used to work in the district. She was here before I was in Alicia Love. And so she worked with open schools. The reason she had left was because she had gotten another job offer from someplace else that never worked out.
I remember.
But she had worked with everything that Dr. Leverett had said that she wanted and needed. This young lady has done it. She is from Pontiac, and I think one of the things that, I know Dr. Leverett, when she was talking about it, she did mention that she think it would be helpful to have somebody with some, experience in urban communities and somebody that can tell our story. So I think three of them, resumes that we received, the proposals from the firm we don't have yet. But this young lady she mentioned stood out to her the most. So the question again is,
So we get rid of all three.
Well, the two people that are here who do not have a contract with us, they have just been going month to month, as Ivy comes.
So it's time to get rid of them.
So the person that comes in would be, or the firm would be replacing them. We talked about that the last time, that we were not extending the contract
Well,
for,
For right now, well, we don't know where our finances. I believe the talent is already within the district. Somebody can do that piece and get an extra 10,000, 15,000 onto what they already make. And we not pay a firm. We have until, I'm not, just let it be clear, I'm voting no. Until we get an audit to see where we are, to see how much money we have and what we spending and compare apples to apples, it's no for me on anything. We don't need that right now. That same money, we can tell our own damn story.
My concern is when we discussed this initially, I was being set against another director position. Because that, again, adds to our already top heavy administration. And, what I'm hearing is that it appears to me that the young lady who's interested in what she's, that is being pushed for another director position. And the reason that, trust me, I recommended a firm, because a firm, they take on the entire project. You don't have to dictate, so they'll constantly update the website, they'll constantly do things. You don't have to pay retirement, benefits, vacation time. That's why, so that's why I suggested a firm, but again, it seems like we're moving towards adding yet another administrative position, which I am firmly against, because what benefit would that have for us? Is that not the revenue school be dictating what she wants done instead of letting somebody do it and do it independently?
No, I'm good. I'm like when I'm.
Regardless on whether it's in-house person or something that we just need to be better at getting, what goes out, I would assume bringing these people in for us, so we're just looking at
this
this.
is what she provided as an update, wanted us to research that, figure out where we were with our communications about. Like I said, we didn't have a contract of high coalition. And so as of date, she said their last day, I'm assuming she told her because she told me this afternoon, their last day would be October 27th. So, that's what she shared with me this afternoon. So this was the information that she wanted us to know, just to give an update, because we talked about the last that we were considering a firm or an individual. Now, title, I mean, that's up to whatever they want to call it, but if we are in need of a communication person for this district, then those are the two options. So she just wanted us to have an update as to what information that she received.
I do recall discussing this, and I was in agreement with the firm because of one. We don't always need a communication person here daily. I said when there's specific things that need to be done, the firm can do it even on a part-time basis. We pay them part-time. Because if a specific thing happened, we can say, hey, listen, this happened, we need something, we need you now. But we don't need you here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You understand what I'm saying? So I did agree with the firm because then they'll cover the cost, because in-house people were here every day and didn't do everything work. Because we not even had updates on the website every day. Every day. And so I said with the firm, if we give a firm specific line item things that we want done, right? And that we can continue to check, hey listen, within by quarterly or monthly, we want the website updated. Quarterly, we want you to check in and make sure that we got specific things in the district going on that's being implemented and set out, right? But if something specific happens, like an emergency, be on call for us to say, hey, this is what we need you to do. That's what the firm is for. Like I'm saying, it didn't work for me for the last 5 years. We had somebody say that weren't even doing communication they were doing other biddings by the superintendent, they didn't call for their job renewal. They was getting $100-something a year, and nothing went out. Is why the decision was made to bring someone else. We know. But the thing is, we had a firm, we can dictate to them what we want done, give them specific things that we want done. Right? We want to see it because I'm saying, this is their last day. When was the website there? Have y'all seen it? Get what I'm saying? Even in the time of you about to get ready to leave, you still ain't updated the website. Wow. There was no enrollment information out there on what's timeline to enroll. I know that. There's no information on there about discussing attendance. That's not on there. These are specific things that we talked about before. Did you trustees ever make anything about it? Right.
I've been here a year.
That's right. But I'm just saying this. That's why I agree with the firm, because now we can specifically say what we want. And if you don't do it, we go to another firm.
The firm probably would say though, when you think about the benefit package.
Well, without a doubt. And you know, pay this. I'd rather pay $55,000 for the year than almost $200,000, and we get the work done. It's part time.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of in-house person, now we don't need executive.
Yes, she will, David, and she gonna listen. Oh, we're waiting on them to just get their numbers back to us.
Yeah, the sheet is yet to be open. I didn't know when I asked today, to give me everything, you know.
Miss Ann on that sheet,
Huh?
I brought Ann on this sheet for anybody if I can. We going to priorities?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna add something. Thank you.
Yes. She's supposed to, ask, she's supposed to look to see if they accept their proposals, because they told that, last week, that had, so she was go back with the So I did get up. All right, so now, board priorities. So, as we know, we are working, Thursday, we got to meet with MASB to do our goal setting and talk about.
It's here, right?
Yep, it'll be here in this space. So I wanted us to at least have a conversation to say what are some of the priorities you all want to set or
Oh,
you think.
that's a priority for them. I thought you said this.
No, for the district, yes.
Oh.
And so we can share what our priorities are as a board and see how they align with the goals.
This priority is not for this is about. One of the things, yes, we are in need of a part-time person to help the kids in sports training, athletic training, and I think it should be a part-time position in the district because I gave the numbers to the superintendent. Covington and I, AD Covington and I met with the company, and they gave us an idea of what they do. They had physical therapists part-time. And they work up to 29 hours a week, which means they'll be able to separate their time. This is just an example. Separate their time for practices, so the kids can have a trainer in practice, as well as games.
So it's like basketball or the
Basketball, football, volleyball, skills, jump rope, everything.
So this person will.
Beats all sports. It's for the whole game. And with the hourly rate, it only came out to $28,000 a year. We spend that on the dad's books we just went on.
You voted for it.
But I, a district trainer, an athletic trainer that goes to the games when kids get hurt in practice or at games. Right now we're just renting them. And we used to have at football games, the guys with the ambulance, the medical staff with the ambulance, they used to sit in the games for us. That was a charge. But if we had an in-house trainer that was part-time, I gave it up. It was only like 28, no more than 30,000 a year. I don't even know. Right. Right. But the person we're paying now only shows up to games, not practices. And we need. We had a trainer. We had an athletic trainer when I was in. Yeah, so you know, saying those are ideas, that's one of the ideas I think we need for this one, as well as the in-house psychiatrist and psychologist. Right, they can do e-mails. Medicine as well as mental health.
All right, trustee Miller?
What,
Yep, board priority, what do you think the priority should be?
no, hold on, superintendent. That's all I think.
Anything else?
Anyway.
Secretary next. Then you have some, and, I mean, maybe if you don't have any now, definitely think about it, so that in our conversation on Thursday, we should figure out ways to get answers. Treasurer Terry, something that you think should be a board priority, which could be board addition.
A-U-D-I-T. A-U-D-I-T. A-U-D-I-T.
Hey, you find me.
You were waiting on that one. I can't. What did she say? She heard the only thing you can do is show her.
You want, I thought you were gonna say,
Elizabeth, I'm coming to tell you, honey.
Where are we still at impasse with teacher contracts? So that would be a board priority to see if we can expedite that negotiation.
What can we do to expedite? If possible.
If anything,
Yeah,
but that would be.
I agree with that. Yeah, we need to get that done.
To get that, because, and the reason why I say that, I know I can be comfortable,
No, really.
but if they become disgruntled, or many may begin to seek other places of employment, we may find ourselves in a hell of a position, uncomfortable. So I would, and I'm saying that having been a teacher, because it's no way I can expect a teacher to deliver in their best capacity if they're worried about how they're gonna pay their next year. So that would be something I really would want us to, if we can.
I would like superintendent to look for interactive fun ways, like the regular model of coming to class, sitting in for hours. I want us to look at different approaches to teaching students.
And the kids where they are.
All teachers don't know how to teach, let's be clear.
Whatever that is, I
That's
just
why we
know
got grades you got now.
the fun component,
Let's be clear.
the fun component, like it needs to be a different strategy because we need our children
Yeah,
to
saying
want to
something.
be engaged because they come to
What
class.
they're doing is not working.
They sitting in the class the same way our grandparents were sitting in the class. You come in, you sit down, and you get taught that.
And rote memory is not good, they
Yeah,
need to
it's
interact.
something different.
Stimulate.
I'm going to let my peer, communication.
Communication.
That is the priority for me, that I think should be, and that's how we communicate.
Yeah.
That's a challenge right now. I'm going to just.
What I was, I wanted to respond back to something that you just said. I'll just say it bluntly, okay. Has anyone besides myself read 134 pages of report documents? Because I understand the frustration that we want to place blame, and we paid an independent person to come in here and laid everything on the line and evaluate everything. What I read was, our curriculum is ish 10 years-ish behind. And not only did she identify where we were deficient in that 134 pages, she gave us recommendations. Every time I bring up, hey, Dr. Grant's report, can we look at this? Can we look at this when it comes to curriculum supporting old materials? I don't get a response. We paid this lady and she was very thorough, and she practically gave us a blueprint on how we could make our kids learn. And we haven't even discussed it.
She met with Dr. Hannah and I. And not only did she this, what was written here, she gave us the frustration that the teachers are having for the district. She said, it's not your teachers, is what she said. She said, it's their am I right? Quote unquote, she said it's their frustration with the curriculum because the kids aren't getting it. That's why I said earlier in this meeting, Compton and St. Louis changed their curriculum because they met the kids where they are and took them where they wanted them to be. And now they're in the 90s in graduation rates.
Why do we want to try? We know what we're doing. We're less than 1% proficient, according to data.
And it doesn't,
right?
it only
So we know that it's not working. So if we have a blueprint of like, you know what, hey, if you guys try this, this, or this has been here for data that supports that this could be effective for years to students. Why haven't we even tried it?
I know it takes time.
It does take time, but I'm gonna say.
Every morning we
want
make,
to
what
say
our
at
kids
the
are
end.
continuing to
But here's
fail.
the thing, we want everything right. No, that's not even it. We got that same information. We received it, the teachers are seeing it. The principals have seen it. So it's on them to take the information and to figure out how it is going to be implemented or what they are going to do with it. I know because everything seems so terrible. And I think Trustee Dooley and Trustee Miller has pointed those things out to this district since they've been here about all the things that's not working.
Okay, no. We
And
have been,
so
I'm speaking on myself, no, because I have been honest, y'all sweeping under the rug, I have been honest. So if you wanna say that I came in here trying to do something, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break.
So everything that is, whatever is wrong, whatever is at fault, whatever the issues are, we know that these are things that need to be fixed. You've been on this board before. I've been on this board for 3 years now. There are issues in this school district that need to be addressed. And like we said, yes, it's time to hold people accountable so that we can see the progress that we want to see. But just because she gave us that doesn't mean it's automatically gonna happen today. So if nothing else, we do have a blueprint to now say, there's no excuse for saying, I don't know what's wrong. But now that you know what's wrong, then now we expect to see a plan as to how you're gonna fix it. I cannot realistically tell you that because I gave you this today, that you're gonna have this implemented tomorrow. You being an educator know that it is going to take some time for things to happen. So I'm not trying to dismiss the critiques or the areas that are not working well. I'm just trying to say that we have to be realistic in the expectations of getting things done. So and again, I was gonna say all of this for later because I sit here and I listen. It's no question that some of you have disliked me personally for whatever the reason is. But when I come here to this school board, I'm coming here as the president, as a role. I don't bring any personal feelings here, and nor is that relevant. But in terms of who I am as a person and how I choose to lead, I lead by respecting everybody else. I don't have to know or like everything about somebody, but it's respect. And that's the same respect that I give to Dr. Delarette, the same respect that I give to each and every one of waiting for me to say something or do something so you can jump in and critique me. I am not perfect, and nor do I try to be. But what I try to be when I come to this space is effective, and I try to be respectful to everybody that's here, which is why I listen, and which is why I don't have to comment on all the other sidebars or any other small comment. I don't have to, because I'm here to serve the school district and not any feelings, personal feelings. Like I said, since I know there are challenges in this district, we all know it. And because I now in this role have to work with Dr. Leverett, or I have conversations with her, that does not mean that I'm not representing this board. That does not mean that I'm Team Leverett and I don't have nothing to do with this board, or I'm siding with Dr. Just like Dr. Leverett shares information with me, I have teachers in the community that share information with me. I have principals, I have counselors, just like y'all have people come to y'all, I have people come to me too. And so I cannot be judgmental just based off of what one person says, because I'm not inside the schools. So I can't say she lied, he lied, or this happened. I listen to what everybody has to say, and then I assess the information and ask questions, because I can't. One minute I'm hearing how terrible the teachers are because the kids ain't learning, and then on the other hand, somebody is talking about, well, we need to get rid of all of them, or we too tight. It go back and forth. Sometimes I'm confused. Are we saying we don't like the teachers? We do like the teachers. We want to help it's so, we hurt ourselves because we want so much to just show all of the negativity, all of the bad that's going on. We put it out ourselves about this whole school district. We do it. They don't know stuff unless we the ones that's telling them. And yes, this district has had challenges for years. I learned that once I got here, being able to sit in this space to see some of the things that people in the community are saying about this school district because they had kids in it. I now see it, but I can't be the one to sit here and talk about them and critique them. Either I'm going to be for the district or I'm not. And what I say matters. How I say it matters. And so this is why I'm always mindful of what I say and how I say, because it looks terrible for me, especially being a president or a trustee on this school board, to be bad-mouthing the school district that I'm supposed to be here to serve. I know nothing is perfect. And I know, again, that there are issues here, which is why we're supposed to work together to try to address what we can. I can't fix grown people. I can't tell grown people what to do. And I shouldn't have to tell grown people what to do.
No.
But I'm saying that at least have respect for the people that you're working around. I don't care if personal feelings, I don't care if you don't like it. I really don't. This is not my space to make friends. And in fact, I got enough friends. But what I do expect is to be able to work with 6 other grown people in a respectful manner. This is not my life. And again, I'm here to advocate for these students. It's not to take sides. It's not to play buddy-buddy with this person. No. I respect Dr. Leverett and her role. When I hear about other superintendents and all that they have to deal with, and I know what we have dealt with on this board for the last year and a half, 1 year you don't know what it was like. I respect for somebody to know that something was a mess and still say, I'm going to stay in it. Because most of us, if we had a choice, and if you knew that every day you was going to come and be attacked, criticized, talked about, stabbed in the back, I don't know how many people voluntarily say that that's what they want. Some people about that life, and yet that's okay. I don't want that type of stress in my life. So I choose to come here and take all of that I just described, because I committed myself to this work for the term of my, whatever my term was, 4 years, because I care about seeing something different for this school district. I'm not expecting it to happen overnight. Yes, I have frustrations about how things get done, but I'm not going to sit and talk about it And so much so that people have to question, do you want the district to succeed or do you want it to fail? So that's why I carry myself the way I do. That's why I say or don't say certain things from this space, because I understand how important my words are. Either I'm for the community or I'm here to support it or I'm not. And I would not say anything that's gonna make any of y'all look bad. So, again, my point I was trying to make to Miller is being these new eyes coming into this space, they're seeing things for the first time, whereas we have been in this. So their perspective is new. We know that there are challenges. It's not to say that this is how it's always been done, but just as my eyes were open when I got on this board to really see where there were some challenges and deficiencies, it takes time. This is a whole educational system that's screwed. It was never intended to work. But us, we make it bad for ourselves. I do not hear no other school district blasting themselves, promoting it, just talking about how messed up all their stuff is. But I promise you, these other suburban school districts got the same issues. But they ain't on TV, they ain't out in the community bragging about it, talking about it, to make each other look bad. But we do that. As a community, we make ourselves look bad because we want to just put it out and just say how messed up and effed up everything is, and we stealing money, and we saying that. We saying that.
I'm just gonna add on to you, it's just not the board.
It's the school district too. It is, it's inside. We, not just the 7, we do this to ourselves. Either we want to help this district or we're hurting this district. And that's what I'm saying. Either we're wanting to attract people to come to this district, but why, if they hear what they hear and they see what they see, I'm not sure how confident people don't want to come. Because they see what they're gonna have to deal with. I've heard that. People, I have applied for these positions here, but I've seen y'all board me. Or I heard, we as a community, we're doing this to ourselves. Either we wanna help, we know that it's issues. Let's try to figure out solutions instead of feeling like it's okay to just blast and put people on front because of what, like you said, hold them accountable. And let's keep it moving.
That's all I ask.
I have no problem with that, but it's a matter of how we do it. I'm not that person. I'm not that person that's going to, you're not gonna get me riled up and for me to just say, yeah, let's blast this person or they did. No, because I'm human just like they do. And at the end of the day, everybody can walk away from their respective seats, their job, and choose to be anywhere else. But while you're choosing to be here, I'm gonna continue to conduct myself in the way that I have been conducting myself. And I'm still gonna give everybody the level of respect that I think everybody deserves as grown adults. But I just had to say that I was trying to hold it to the end because I feel this energy all the time, and I'm sick of it. But I'm cool with it because that's what comes with leadership. And again, it's how you handle these situations. I don't care who's in this seat. The issues and everything is gonna still be the same. I don't care who's sitting in the seat. It's what's most important is how you handle it. And everybody got their own style of how they handle things, but this is mine. And so while I'm here in this seat, I'm gonna continue doing what I've been doing. Don't care. And just like if anybody was in the superintendent seat, they're gonna have the same issues regardless of who it is. The issues, like Trustee Louis said, it's not the who, it's the what. And whoever is going to have to deal with all of this stuff, all of this mess that's happening within our school district, they will. So again, I just want to put that out, but I'm with everybody. I don't hold people accountable, and that's just not. That is her role as our employee, but we got to hold ourselves accountable. So, Trustee Julie and then Trustee Miller.
I was just gonna say, again, as I've previously stated, I see this through a different lens. Having been on this side of the table, the other side, being a teacher, being in the classroom, being in leadership, A lot of intricate stuff, nobody has to tell me about it. I lived it, I was a part of it. And then to be on this side where now I can speak up and not have any retaliatory fears, because that's real. I live it. So again, the way I see things, and I'm working on my delivery, not to be so brash or bullish or whatever, but again, I see things and I know some stuff that you guys don't know because you weren't a teacher. And I just see it through a different lens. And that's why I went to trustee, I shared with the two of them, trustee Miller and trustee Gross. When I'm pushing something on curriculum, it's something I know for a fact. And those books, I was really, we don't need to continue to spend money on materials when we have it. And it's just certain things that I may present opposition, and I may, and I'm not even adversarial. I just want you guys to see things from a teacher side. And even though I never was promoted to principal, I have the credentials, and they're current. So just be mindful that when I speak, especially from that curriculum piece, I'm talking from experience and what I know and what I can show you some receipts on.
And that's perfectly fine, and I know Trustee Miller is next. But it's never, before you even got on the board, I saw value in being here because you have to. But here's what I had to learn too. This whole big educational system takes time to learn and understand how things work, and why things are in place. So we're so critical about every single thing, and I know part of it is because we don't quite understand it. It has taken me now I'm starting to get a grasp of why and the how and seeing this as a whole system. Otherwise, I was critical thinking, well, why this thing? Well, why this? Why that? It's a system. It's a system. It's bigger than just one line item or the spending of this and spending of that. And a lot of the things and questions that you have had, Miller has had, have been valid. But for someone, in a sense, it's almost, sometimes it feels like, well, since we've been in here on the board, and if they come in with all these questions, or if all of these things are so wrong, or if it's really wrong or bad, then what the heck has y'all been doing? Since y'all been on this board for all these years, and the two new people can walk in here and just tell y'all that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's not so much of things being wrong, but this is how the system has worked. And yes, there are some process improvements that can be done, and having new eyes to see it brings value and help us to do that. But it's the way in which we present information and how it's seen and how it's perceived as, then obviously y'all don't know what y'all doing, and only a couple people do. Or if everything is looked at through the lens of deficit, that also makes us look bad. So again, it's not to say that the questions are great and the lens that you come from is very valuable, but we just have to think about it's the whole system. It's the whole education system. And in 6 years, you'll get to see and have a good grasp of how this educational system works. Prayerfully, the Trump don't.
From a board's perspective.
From a board
Not just teachers.
perspective, yes. So that is it. Trustee Miller.
I want to say that the state goes on. Yes, I'm increasingly frustrated because of many of times you have made me feel like I only come here just to say negative things. I'm tired. Y'all, what y'all don't understand is I owe Pioneer for what they did for my you take it personal. You feel like that I'm trying to wait for you to fuck up. No, but I would appreciate it if you did make a mistake, because we're all gonna make mistakes. Instead of trying to prove me wrong, especially when I quote policy and say we should do it this way, work with me. Don't try and work hard against me just because you want to look at me as being adversary or know-it-all or coming in here trying to destroy the district. I own this district. I'd be damned if I destroy this district. Y'all don't understand what this district has done for my motherfucking son. I own this district. So if anybody ain't gonna destroy it, it's gonna be me. What I'm not gonna do is sit and smile in front of the cameras and act like everything is peaches and cream when it's not with our kids. When we could do that. The way that you learn and grasp things as it relates to education or any capacity is not the way I do things. So I often felt like you hold me back, like, oh, you're still new, you don't know, you learn. I don't learn how everybody does. We're all individuals, okay? But one thing I will always say is, I never came at you and attacked you. You've done it to me. Let's just keep it real. But I always try to respect you in the capacity of, hey, here's the policy, here's the state law, here's this, here's that. So if you take it personal, I don't know what else to do. What would you just sit back and be complacent? Because we can smile in front of the camera and show the community that all is well. We have to have hard, knock out, drag out conversations, not for us, for these kids. Because if we just keep sweeping shit and acting like everything is cool, so we can smile and everybody can go about their merry way, only people that suffering is our kids. Real talk. That's the only people that suffer. So if y'all get pissed because I say what's fact on policy and state law, I'm not gonna ever apologize for that, because there's nothing personal attached to that. If anything, we should want to abide by policy that y'all implemented before I got here, because it's a non-negotiable.
Good point. And,
I love it.
no.
I'm saying, like, y'all putting the blame on the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all would rather have our kids and our staff out here just all fucked up instead of having hard conversations as the leaders of this mess up. I apologize. My bad. I apologize.
You laugh.
Huh?
You laugh.
I'm human. I'll always be me. I don't care. I'm always be honest and open and be what's best for this district, because again, I own this district. So if I say something that's a hard truth, instead of trying to portray me to, oh, somebody told her that, somebody fed her that, she must be this or she must be that, I've heard it all. Look at what I typed and said, policy X, Y, and Z. Can't nobody feed me that. It's something personal with that. Let's have hard conversations so that we can collectively do what's best. And respectfully, President Hannah, this board is not just you as the president, it's the 7 of us. And that's my issue with you personally as my leader of this board, is that you often make unilateral decisions based upon what you feel is best. And we are colleagues. You hold the presidential seat, but we are all 7 of us are supposed to. I took your email and said it, I gave dates and everything you have. You have. I mean, it's fact. I mean, it's fact. I ain't trying to make nothing up. I mean, I accept that. You know what I mean? And I would appreciate a collective effort with you as the president, instead of hearing about things second, third, and fourth string, and I sit on this as a diet with you. That makes me feel disrespected as a colleague, as a woman, as a mother, because half the time when I tell you guys stuff and I say, y'all gotta believe me, here's the facts, here's this, I got a kid, this is not happening. People call me a liar. Told me my son didn't know how to operate his tablet.
I wasn't the board.
Huh?
The board didn't say that.
No, I could maybe
Yeah,
the board didn't say
yes,
that.
yes.
What I'm saying is that everybody has a different level of value. I just wanna come in here and do what I can do to add value to this district. I owe it to you. Don't fight against me because you think I'm trying to attack you. I ain't got to attack you personally. It's the when I say policy X, Y, and Z, just instead of me, in my opinion, instead of making me feel like, oh, here she go again, just sit back and take 5 seconds and look and fact check me. Please, everybody fact check me. I ain't gonna never say nothing. I can stand behind my word and what's best for this that this collectively, people may feel like my directness is a dislike. I am just very matter of fact and very direct. Now, the one thing you are correct, I do avoid communicating with you because I don't feel like I have that window, and I feel like the level of disrespect has gone both ways, and I would choose, in my opinion, to just send an email so there's no misinterpretation of what I said. It's very direct. My tone is my tone in the email. I send it to as my mama. Like, I send the same email, the same type of tone to everybody. It's not my fault that y'all perceive that as being nasty or whatever. It's just very direct. It's nothing personal, y'all, just direct.
And I'm glad we're having this discussion because it was talking about. And I raised the issue at our last meeting. Let's put emotions aside. Take a listen to what we're saying. There's been a history of poor communication that we hit that in the beginning. Right? And when I say communication, it's communication amongst the board and communication of the board with the superintendent. That has caused some issues. I said it before, and I keep raising the same issue, and I've spoken with the superintendent. And I understand what we're talking about as it pertains to communicating with the superintendent when there's specific things that we want done. That should go through the chair. Because it has to be for all 7 of us. Not just one independent, one person, because we went through that before. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But as it pertains to communication with the superintendent, we should all be able to use it, because we employ him. Right? That has not been done yet. As a superintendent, I said, hey, have some open lines. Say you want to meet the board member 1 hour one day, 2 board members an hour a week, whatever the case may be. But you got to be willing to communicate because we haven't been. Now remember that. That has not happened.
And when you say that, that makes me think she sent out, I saw an email that she sent out saying that she was available. And if anybody, I don't know who went to see her and talk to her. I don't want the, I don't know what the perception is.
No, I don't know.
Only I can talk to her, or I say who.
That's the perception
Yes,
because
that
it
is
went
the
from.
perception.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Let me finish.
I apologize.
Hold on. Hold on. It's a perception that was put in place before.
Okay. But I don't know.
Hear what I'm saying?
So whatever that misperception is, I mean, I've seen, she said that she got office hours, or she's available, or.
I have
even
too.
when so whoever is not communicating, I don't know who is or who not, because she's not telling me, hey, this person.
But then she needs to say to them, hey, call them. You don't have to just set up times to meet. How about say, she did it when I was sick. She called me.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I don't know
So
who's
let's say-
talking to her.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, right, we don't know. Have you talked to superintendent? Hear what
I
I'm
know
saying?
if President Hannah sends it, she wouldn't get a response.
Well,
but
I
I
see
would.
what emails that Trustee Miller sent, and I see communication back, so I don't know what she's sending
See,
out
I'm-
that I'm
But you don't
not
know.
sure she
But
may
then
not, I
that's-
may not be copied on, so I don't know
No,
what's
no, no.
happening.
Everything.
So what I see communications
Get
come
it
back
out.
and forth. I see communications coming back and forth.
But hear what I'm
Coming back
saying.
and forth.
This is why we need to have an open line of communication with each other. And the reason why you two don't is because of past issues that have not been rectified between the two of you. You may not think they are, but she does. She may not think they are, but you do. You get what I'm saying? And the only way we can rectify that is through communication. The only reason I gave the superintendent ideas, I didn't say this is how you do it. The superintendent can say one day, let me call these board members once a week. Anything, just an ideal of open communication. Because there has been a history. It is not you. It was prior to you and prior to the president before you. Don't nobody speak in this district, speak to the superintendent, to the board. And I had friends, I remember all of that. Yeah, that's not good. But here's the thing, is what we're communicating on. Again, if there's specific things that Miller said, I want this, and this, that goes through you. Because it has to be determined if the entire, you just can't have specific things independently as a board member. Unless it's policy that you want.
It is.
If it's policy, she has to get that.
It is. And remember, you had said that y'all had did something,
Yes.
but I don't see it in writing. So again, I'm only going by what's in
No, hear what I'm saying. that's where the two of you have to communicate, because you're the council of the board. And it's like, well, right. I spoke with her. She asked for this, and this is policy. She hasn't gotten it. Why? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Something like that. That's simple.
Yeah.
That's simple.
And if there are those matters, then absolutely, because that is the board asking.
But I need you to understand too. I need this board to understand, not just you. There has been time, a part of our board things is no surprise. That was the last thing I put on. That thing you brought with enrollment was a surprise.
Okay, that's good.
That affected the whole board, because we didn't know. Because you know, but we didn't know. But here's the thing. When we have specific, this is this. It's the specific things that I have an issue with. I go to you, I go to the superintendent. And I say, hey, listen. Because if I don't get a response, I'm then going to get the board.
Let me double check my email. I almost feel like.
No,
Hold on, because I, even not liking some things going on, listen, I'm just gonna make sure I said, because I abide by that no surprise, because I know, like President Hunter says, people looking for her to mess up, I feel the same, so I make sure I stick to policy. Every, listen to me, before every board meeting, I always say, hey, I read the packet, I can't agree with X, Y, and Z.
No.
Now that, I am almost for certain, I sent the email because
About the enrollment issue?
I am almost for certain. I am almost.
I just don't recall.
Okay.
I don't recall. It was a surprise to me.
And
You can have it.
Yeah.
You may have it. But I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Because I don't want nobody to feel like, dang, she bamboozled us. No, that's
No.
why I sent the email.
No.
Every time.
And let me tell you this. One of the things that I truly enjoyed that the two of you did, when it came to, what was the one issue? You had multiple questions. What are you talking about? I'm talking about Anisha and Anisha. There was a specific thing about, Havenwick, about the Havenwick contract. Right? An email was sent out, and you says, I got an issue with this, and this. And then an email was sent out about the answering of your issues. And you said, thank you, I appreciate the information. Right? That's what I'm talking about in communication, because there was no, no, it was, I have an issue with this contract because of this, and this. 2 days later, the questions were answered. Right? In the past, how previous board presidents handled, I'm not saying this, I'm just giving you examples. If there were specific items, because the president, we know for a fact the president and the superintendent creates the agenda. Right? But if there were specific items put on the agenda that the board president at the time knew there was going to be concern, and you've been listening, you've been doing it. You guys have any issues, this is the agenda, any issues or questions, send it back to them. Then those questions was answered. If you felt you didn't have the vote, they were removed from the agenda till we discussed it and we brought it back to another board meeting based on the time. This is what, because the board meetings are used for business purposes only and get things done efficiently. But the back and forth thing make us look like we're incompetent and we don't know what we're saying or doing. And we make this, I have no issue when it comes to board meetings, and we talked about this. We don't always have to justify what our votes are. We don't. But here's the thing. We don't always have to go back and forth with the items that we deal with. If we vote no, just vote no. Because the question is, any discussion? Yes, board member, boom, I'm doing this, and this, and I understand them. Here's the thing. We want to look efficient. I'm not going to say kiss and butt for the camera. Looking efficient means we were able to get these questions answered prior to voting. We understood prior to voting. And when we come to the vote, the only thing we do is vote. And it makes us look like we're doing our homework. And I get what I'm saying? And sometimes if there's some issues or concerns, you gotta be willing to do so. Right? But if we do these things prior to, it gives us the opportunity to show that we're efficient. Right? That's just my opinion. Because these are how we handle things in the past. And not everybody agrees. We've had 4-3, 5-2, 6-1 for years. Because somebody says, yeah, I understand that. Hell, I don't agree with that shit. No. That's all I'm saying as it pertains to the board meeting.
But so the commentary is for about 7,600.
But we don't always have to. We don't have to do that. They don't even show up.
Come back out.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying,
And needs to vote there.
and I respect that, and I respect
But
that.
all I'm saying is, that's sometimes, and some people will never get earmarks, they can't. But my point is, I use that time to share why I voted or position, and then also, I am answering on camera what has been brought to me cited by. I'm just saying.
No, so
I
let me say.
want you to understand, when I have a
I have no-
commentary, I'm answering some people that have addressed me on certain things, and I do that to say, you know, you heard me. You heard me.
You just answered the question based on what said you on side.
Yeah, but
So mine is-
I'm trying to do that in the spirit of transparency and accountability.
And I respect
being
that.
elected. So
I-
a lot of times I might ask questions, I already know the answer, but I have to ask it because I've had conversation with other people, and I have to do my due diligence to make them feel like I'm representing them. So I just want you to know, sometimes my commentary is clearly for the people out there that have called me on the phone.
So can I say this? Can I say this?
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me.
No, I'm serious.
No, I'm serious with you. So now I know.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not looking back and saying, there go do it again.
Oh, no.
You get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Now I know and I respect what you
Yeah, that's I use that time for that.
But to hear,
You didn't know, you just thought it was
I
being
didn't know. I didn't know what I was thinking. I was just saying that dude was being doing. You get what I'm saying?
But I
here's
am
the thing.
being duly, but I'm being a
No. I respect that.
Yeah.
No, I respect that. Because,
Yeah, okay.
So when it
I'm not
happens-
being adversarial or
exactly.
trying to bring
You get what I'm
attention to
saying?
me. I'm trying to answer to them same people.
And I respect
And I will go back to
You
and
get what I'm
say,
saying?
hey, vote for this, we
And-
have millage, or whatever.
Now, and all I'm saying is, this board is aware of that.
Yeah, know that.
So we don't have these personal impressions on
No, I'm
you get what I'm
coming against
saying?
you on that.
That's what any of us. You with any of us. But mine is, and that's why when I say communication is not just with us. It is with our person too that we report. And hear what I'm saying. We've got to be willing to do so because this, I'm going to say this to you. I hear her frustration and she's been saying the same thing since she started. And it's about communication. And however you guys' communication is, I think it needs to be discussed between the two of you, but there's gotta be a way to where we're hearing her concerns and what she's asking for, and listen, a closed mouth gives no answers. If nobody answer her, then you become frustrated as hell. She's been saying the same thing over and over for the last 8 months, 9 months. And it's like, when you gonna stop? Listen, Dr. Leverett, listen, I know you got things to do. If she send you something that said, I want policy on this, no matter how attacking it sounds, get it to her. If she's not frustrated, she'll bring it to me.
So, you know, if there's any questions
Am I
that
right?
you have
That's all I-
that have not been answered, can you please send them to Dr. Leverett? I'm assuming these questions are to Dr. Leverett. Send a list of questions to Dr. Leverett that you have that have not been addressed, and,
CCU.
the rest of the board on.
I've always.
No, I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying CCU. Miller had it.
So copy the whole board, that way we'll know when the questions are being asked or answered.
And again, the communications that I have seen, that trustee Miller has sent, I have seen Dr. Leverett respond. Now, if there's some that have slipped through the crack, then bring them back up to the top and say, I have not sent them.
She just said that. Their emails have not been answered. She said
Well,
that.
then
So
send
was
that
something
to
going
her,
on?
send the list. Again, I'm not,
No.
I try to be understanding.
I'm not
I don't
blaming
try
you.
to make excuses, I don't try to, I'm not here to defend, and I'm not protecting.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm not, I know you're not saying that,
No.
but these are the things that come back to me,
And I know they do.
that it's
I said them to you.
perceived that, no, you ain't necessarily said it to me, but people perceive.
No, I said to you that
I'm
people are
protecting.
feeling that yes.
I try to be understanding because I realize that we are all human. Her job is her job to run the district. And if she's getting emails and if they're not getting responded, I'm just trying to think, I know how many emails I get in my job. And if it's some that I got that I forgot stress, I'm saying it, send an email, say, here are some things that I've been waiting, or I'm still awaiting a response on. You can copy the whole board on it. Please let me know what the, when can you get back to me? That's it, because again, we continue to say, what hasn't been done, or this.
We can continue until it
Just do
stops. You just gotta
say-
do it. But let me finish. This is my
Yeah.
last thing. Hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And don't misunderstand. Misunderstanding what I'm going with this. I know. I'm just saying. And I mean what I say. My expectation is high for the superintendent of the district. I don't think it's 45. So there's specific things. That's a fact. Mine is high. There are superintendents that have 10,000 kids that have double the work of what Dr. Leverett has. We only got 4,500 students. So the expectation is to get things done. Now, I may be wrong for saying that, but that's what I'm seeing because I can't keep, here's the thing, our kids are losing because we accept excuses. And we've accepted excuses at board meetings from employees, not our state, not the superintendent. We have been willing to accept this, not accept, that's a wrong word, but listen to and don't react. And that's a problem. And listen. And when we listen to and don't react and don't do anything, or don't go to our person who said, you have to hold them accountable. Other employees see this and they say, well, shit, she getting away with this, he getting away with this. Why am I busting my ass? Get my point? It's a trickle-down effect. And that's been the issue of this district. And so, that's why I asked, and I say, and I'm not going to do it again. People say, oh, you was rude when you did this. But no, I want mid and end of year evaluations. So I can determine how I'm going to vote next year if I'm on a non-renewal and not vote for that person to come in. Because you're not getting the job done. That's a fact. Because then we're selling our kids short if we letting people do half-ass and believe it's okay. We're selling them short. This man been saying about the years his concern with the principals, and some of these teachers are not doing their job. But it's only worth listening. When it's only discussed amongst us, that's crazy. Howdy.
But no,
You understand what I'm saying?
I
So,
totally
and
understand
hear what I'm
you're
saying. And I respect what you're saying, and it's not personal with you. It's not, and I don't ever want you to feel that way.
No,
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You are. Here's the thing. Right? We can't keep doing the same old stuff and expect different results.
I agree.
And mine is, until this board comes together first, to hold their person responsible, right, for ensuring that the other people are doing what they're supposed to do, we're going to keep getting the same old stuff.
Absolutely.
We've got the playbook. And here's the thing. I agree with that Dr. Krantz, whatever her name was, right? Whatever, I agree with what she's saying. It takes time to implement that. But that's the playbook she gave us. Because she met with people. There's a difference. It's just meeting with the board or superintendent. Right? She heard from people that's actually implemented. And if they're frustrated, imagine frustration. That came from teachers.
Yeah.
And that came from teachers. Yeah, so I understand the frustration while we're saying, we ain't did this and this and this. Whoa, that time, that came from teachers. So now they're frustrated. So we know, the board knows this. So we got to do something. Right?
Yes, I sit here in this seat, not taking sides.
I ain't saying
I'm
that, no.
to try to understand, but I heard what you're saying.
Yes.
We saying that
We gotta
teachers
change.
need to do something different. We gotta hold
Principals got to do something different.
principals, and then
The administration got to do something different.
And then
And
we
this
hear
board
the
damn
teacher-
sure got to do something
And
different.
then we hear the teachers say, well, I got these issues, I got these issues, I got these issues. So it's just a whole cycle. It's just a whole big circle.
It is. And
So
we keep
when
doing
you-
it over and over and over and
All
over.
I'm saying is, there's.
She wanted to make some clarity to what I
there's a
said.
whole lot- There's a whole lot of stuff.
It is, dear. It is. And it's been going on before you were president.
Absolutely.
Trustee Wilson, I want to provide one note of clarity for you. An MASC class that I took, they told us it was your duty, if you're voting no on something, to inform the community. So when I say, now I already sent the email, right, to say I can't support this, I do that every time. Then,
I'm not wrong with that.
I'm just wanting you to know. So when I say, hey, I can't support this because of X, Y, Z, is because that's what I was taught in the last year. They told us that. So that's why I do. So I'm just saying, so it's not like if you put the district on blast. What those classes told me was, using the class dresses when it wasn't, was you owe it to the community because they put you there, so you have to say.
And we should
You
never
feel
stay.
No, this, my sister, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's not the message, it's not the message. I disagree with this because, this should not be this is a white woman interest. I am getting sick. That's all. Ooh, yes,
All right, so continuing on, I want to.
That's all. You gonna do it.
First, for the good of the district, and some of the things I think we've already just talked about. But trustee Miller, you were talking, you wanted, personnel matters, tell me your thoughts.
Okay, I will make this quick because we. My concern is, the lack of respect from our administration to this board. And one example I want to use is that, with one position recently, that should not have even come to the board.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
the audacity.
HR position, yes, absolutely.
I was trying to.
That part of the help.
You know what I'm saying? The audacity. The audacity to bring that to the board, and again, I did my due diligence by saying, hey, upon reviewing what you provided to me, this person's not qualified, and due to the risk that Pontiac is exposure risk, we need somebody who is knowledgeable on HR laws, but it was still brought to the board and said, this person is just amazing. This person, this is why I called Fred back behind this person. And to me, that was, it was just planted in the board's face, because that shouldn't have never been brought in front of the board.
Can I do a follow-up before you go to your next point? Did we get that committee change that you brought up, Marcus?
Interviewing.
The interviewing committee,
No,
was
that's not our
any
position.
additional conversation held on changing that? We heard anything?
That's not our position to do it, that's what the, should be these questions.
But I'm just saying, have we had any response to that? That's been about 2 weeks ago.
Gotta ask superintendent.
Right. So that's another issue that,
interviewing
validates
committee?
Miller's point of. So we need to get that done.
If I just have.
Go ahead.
My other concern is our lack of being proactive. We know that there's a retirement happening in a key position. Retirement, okay, we're all aware of that, correct? And what are we doing?
Yeah, and
What are we doing to be proactive for that position? Instead of reactive when the person is gone. And it's my same concern when it comes to core vacancies, and where we are with that. I just feel like we, again, Trustee Terry, I know that we can't be involved with the day-to-day, but we do need to be well informed about what is, if we continue to, in August, between August and September, we have 26 resignations. Why? We're gonna consider why? And
I don't think they usually do exit.
I asked for that, it definitely could have been an accident, definitely to get over there. But my concern is that, Marcus,
In mind, I never did that.
That was killer.
And y'all owe me COVID money.
Hey!
I didn't get it, and I was on sick leave.
if I may continue, my concern is that if we continue to turn a blind eye, ill-equipped people are being brought before the board with a level of confidence, we are doing a disservice. Again, I feel like we're doing a disservice. My other concern is that we are, as the board, we are presented problems without any solutions, without any recommendations. It's like, well, I'm having this, and this concern. I'm going all the way back to the 90-day plan. Trustee Dooley asked about a 90-day plan. We've never heard back, and because there's no direction provided to that person from the board, there's no accountability, and the district is who's who's doing what? Because we haven't set the tone of, this is what we want as a district from you as our employee. And I just feel like we have all of these problems that are presented to us, but when we ask for solutions, i.e. a 90-day plan for the district, there's no response. When I ask for, hey, you know, can you send me this by 2 o'clock? I did that one time in the 10 months I've been there. I was accused of disrupting her day, badgering her, and causing a hostile working place environment. So that's why I just fell off. I just backed off. You know what I'm saying? I backed off. Because as a board member, it's our duty to be fiscally responsible and to inform the community. Good or bad. I'll hate that it's sometimes bad, but it's good or bad. But if we don't have the materials and accurate data to inform the community, that's the problem. You said something earlier about people not reporting accurate information. That was another thing of mine. A certain
Employee, administrator.
yeah. What I'm going to say is, one of our administrators, two, consistently reports to this board, and I have sent emails with proof to say that is a bold-faced lie. A bold-faced lie. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I don't know if it exists. I don't help that. But again, it's that. Name another district. I know that, yes, we are Pineapple and Urban District, but name another district that's going to allow the entire administrators to make a fool of it. I understand we talk about we make a fool, you know what I'm saying, about our own issues, but when they get up there and I send y'all an email to prove to y'all, these people on 6 different times lie to us on critical issues. When is enough for me? Y'all don't have to like me. I think I'm okay with that. I'd rather you not like me than if we can move and get some stuff done in this district, at least hold people accountable and be accurate and not sit up there and be lied to all the time. I don't care if nobody likes me. I don't care. I'll be happier with that. We really need to have, I did some other stuff, but we really need to have some very hard conversations because I don't know if you guys realize that we are being both faced right now.
I want to ask you a question. Lisa, I want to ask you a question. No, I'm asking both of you. In the scenarios like that, what's your recommendation?
Call it what it is. And if you notice.
No. Call it what it is, meaning at the time, or in person, at the meeting, or prior to, if an email is sent and information. Plus two, I want to add to that. And it's always continuous statement says, I don't have the answer for you, but I'll get back to you. You know?
Never get back.
But I'm asking all of you, have you got back to you?
No.
Get what I'm saying?
No.
So what is your answer to that?
Are you saying that's the lie?
No, it's too
that's
different.
just another scenario.
Oh.
That's something else.
Putting out false documentation.
Yes,
False information.
false information. And when we ask a question, that's our due diligence as a board. We ask a question and it says, I don't have the answer, but I'll get back to you. And they never get back.
You expect them to get back to
And it hasn't happened in 6 months.
Then you gotta follow up and say.
But
okay.
isn't that the job of the superintendent?
Yes, it is.
So we need to set a timeline, so it will
Her
be
policy
our
is it has to be
expectation.
treated as a 40, which is 5 years.
No.
That's her policy.
I disagree with that.
But that's, I mean, as
I disagree with
I hear you, but
that. When that is said to us, then we say to our one employee, you heard the answer. We expect to get an answer back in 2 weeks from you.
2 weeks.
Two weeks.
Instead of-
I'm just giving a hypothetical number.
No. At max, it's 5 days.
Yes. we
So
should
that's-
ask.
All I'm saying is, I'm not saying the person who tells us that that's the administrator. Their job is to give us information, but we funnel it through our employee. It's been multiple occasions for 6 months that we've not gotten back to by the superintendent based on the question.
And to follow up with that,
All I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying.
I have put in writing a route, so now I'm asking 3 times. I'm not gonna be, I feel like I'm begging her at this point. I put it in writing, okay? I brought it up at the meeting, she said she'll get back to me. I put it in writing again, and then I have sent an email to say, you know what, I withdraw my request, because it's been like
2 months.
8 days or something, and per policy at max, is supposed to be treated as a FOIA request, which is 5 business days, which I think as a board member, that's still too long. So I'm just saying is that how much follow-up is really given, how much follow-up is really expected? I'm not gonna continue to badger because I'm gonna be badgering. If I say, hey, follow up.
No.
I'm telling you that,
I'm saying you're not.
No, we on personnel right now.
No, we should expect a response. And like I said before, if there's something that has been asked, and you have not, then it's safe for you to say it, whether it's instead of sticking in terms directly, or to say the board wants to, or we have not heard back. That's all
So
I'm saying.
my only suggestion is, whether you send a correspondence out, and moving forward, we need to make it real clear. We're not real clear when
No, thank you.
we're making a so
That's all I'm
moving
saying, is
forward,
that's all we
say,
alleviate
hey,
that.
Moving forward, Dr. Leonard, when we have blah, 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 the expectation is within 5 days, we get an answer to the question. That's, put it out to your administration, put it out to your principals, whoever reports. When we have questions, I'll get back to you. This is the time. Because if it's not clearly spelled out, people pretend like it wasn't said, it didn't happen.
So, I want to be clear, what are we agreeing on when it's time to point stuff out? Are we pointing it out when we hear it, or are we coming back and convening?
I say, if something's
Say it again?
no surprise.
But if we are, no, but they would have said it.
If something is said at the meeting and you feel that it is untrue, then I think we don't have to be in that space at that time, but definitely, I would say communication should always say, this was stated at the meeting and it was untrue. Here's what I know, or here's what documentation show, or here's what. We
I've
should
done
do
that
it
in
way.
attached documentation, so what's another recommendation? I've done that several
So,
times.
but now once she makes her say, once, I'm sorry.
Can we go through the chair? Okay, so she up there lying. Chair. No, I ain't saying say that. No, I'm saying, we listened to a presentation and they lying, right? The way I see it. So, should I say, I wanna go through the chair. Chair, I want us to note this information provided. That way, we bring in.
Have to be in that setting, you can send an email and say, she said, this was stated. Yeah, if you know, because what you know, don't necessarily mean we know. Mean that we know.
But we still need to convey our forward moving expectations and put it out.
Send that out.
As a board requirement, whether that's a new board, nor but like our moving forward expectation from, this is the expectation, because we can't just assume that she's gonna figure it out.
Well,
Clear direction and clear expectation, because we're just saying, hey, I want you to walk the dog. We didn't tell. Pick the new leaves, so we have to be clear and put our expectations out there, so moving forward.
Friday is next.
I was in that communication, I was right.
I interrupted.
I mean, I'm trying not to be frustrated, but again, everything that you're saying that you expect, like I said that I typed the policy.
But we gotta start, let's
So
start
what is
moving
so
forward.
what is the expectation? So if we find that it's not.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, okay, what's gonna be different, in my opinion, like I stated before, so what's gonna be different this time is that I'm not sending a message that's coming from you, even though we're saying the exact same thing, so now she don't listen. That, cause I've said that in everything that you just wrote down, I've sent that in an email, pursuant to policy X, Y, and Z. I sent it, I copied. I copied all of y'all on it, every time. Am I lying? Okay, and then, so there is no secret, but then when I don't get a response, again, I feel like, well, okay, like I said, the perception is that if it comes from any of us besides you, it's irrelevant. Because I've said that several times and attached the policy. So what's gonna be different? What's the expectation? The
So what's
expectation.
gonna be different is us in our response, cause when it don't happen, when we don't get. So now we're putting our own selves and moving forward on notice, so like, we're making a stand. Now, what's today? Yeah, it's 9 o'clock, yeah, today. Because a lot of, this meeting has been great, because even the communication between the president and our wonderful trustee members, y'all still have to figure out the best method of communication between the two of you. That's just so that we can cohesively communicate. Y'all gotta figure it out. I don't know what that looks like, and I don't care, but however y'all communicate effectively, y'all have to figure it out.
I don't have no special communication.
No, I'm just
with
saying.
anybody. I mean, my